It's August 26, 1988. The Republican National Convention in New Orleans, Louisiana nominates George H.W. Bush for president and Dan Quayle for vice president of the United States of America. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, starring Steve Martin and John Candy, is released on home video. The album Two Nuns and a Pack Mule is released by noise band Rape Man. Just when you think you're done with rich people, John Candy, and horses, Bobcat Goldthwait and John Candy tell you to go fuck yourselves because Hot to Trot gallops to theaters.
The irritate, flex perplexities, poise puzzles, magnify mysteries, impose inquiries, and coagulate quandaries. But more importantly, they ask one question.
Why would you make this?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Why Would You Make This? I am Jimmy Time. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Danny Money. Jay Delta, how's it going, guys?
Not
Hey,
bad.
what's up, man?
It's going pretty
All
pretty
right,
well.
that's good. And we are joined this time by how would you like to introduce yourself?
Joey.
Joey's fine.
Yeah, that's
No fake internet name.
fine. No,
All right, well that's
I have
dumb.
enough of those. I don't want anybody
Everyone
to
should
worry
have
about.
multiple fake internet names that you then have to research through a series of backlogged pages to understand.
And then you have to delete your browser history so nobody
Yeah. Well,
nobody
you
sees the
should
sites you've been to.
You should-
you should just constantly use the internet in incognito mode. Everything you do.
Yeah, but then you gotta log in again.
Yeah, you gotta do it for porn anyway.
How do you find a really good porn that you?
I always feel bad. There's always like this one site that I go to. Every time I go to it, my computer's like, browse the internet anonymously. And I'm like, oh, they know. Oh, man. All right, everybody watch the film, right? Hot to Trot's the film?
Yes.
Okay, go through it. All right, let's jump right in to my favorite hour. It's not a full hour, but in our hearts it is. It's the Troy McClure Hour.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such nature films as Earwigs, Ooh, and Man vs. Nature, The Road to Victory.
Okay, Bobcat Goldthwait plays Fred P. Cheney, and you may remember him from the Police Academy franchise, movies 2 through 4, as Zed. I think a lot of people know who Bobcat Goldthwait is.
Well,
Even if they
I
don't.
feel like
They would at least understand that, and they go, oh, I know that guy is.
once they hear the
Yes.
they
Yes.
get it.
You
But
know,
if you just said the name, they might. I don't really know.
And even people who don't, I think, would probably recognize that he played the voice of Pain in Disney's Hercules,
I did not know that.
the animated movie.
never
yeah.
seen.
Oh, really? You've never
James
seen
Woods
it?
and Dan
Yeah,
DeVito?
Yeah.
That
Other people?
was my post Disney days.
That was a pretty good film.
And
It's
then,
a lot
really
of,
good
like,
movie.
and then I believe in the early
That's a
90s,
really
he was also the voice of the rabbit on, the puppet rabbit on,
Oh,
what was it?
Unhappily Ever
Unhappy-
After.
There it was,
Yeah.
yes.
Was it Unhappily
Was
or was
it?
it Happily? I
No,
think it was Unhappily.
I thought it was Unhappily.
Yeah, I think it's Unhappily
Mr.
Ever.
Floppy.
Yes.
That's who he was.
Yeah, that's right, he was.
Fuck, that
Oh,
show was
man.
good. You know what? Why don't we just talk about that? 'Cause that I mean, I don't really remember anything specific, but we could just reminisce.
I remember Nicole Cox, right? Is that her name?
Nikki Cox.
Nikki Cox?
yeah.
I don't shorten names sometimes when I feel like it. Bobcat Goldthwait also directed the film God Bless America, and most recently he has directed several episodes of the television series Marin.
He's not even using that voice anymore. He's like, she's just going
Yeah,
on
that's
stage.
not his real voice.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not-
not.
He's not using. No, he's just banking on the success of his old stuff.
No,
He's not
that's
using
done.
that voice anymore.
He's a total I can't even think of the word.
Born again?
Born again?
That voice is a devil's work.
Director was the word I was thinking of.
No, I think he realized, wait a minute, I don't have to destroy my larynx to provide entertainment to people. Have you guys seen, a little off topic, but it has to do with Bobcat Goldthwait? He recently directed, or fairly recently, directed World's Greatest Dad with Robin Williams.
Oh, really? I didn't know he directed.
Yeah, he was the one who...
I didn't see that on the list.
Yeah, it's It's a very bizarre movie. I don't even want to spoil how the movie.
Well, it's like a semi-serious Robin Williams, right?
Yeah, it's
that
semi.
alone is insanely.
It's
just
semi-serious Robin Williams, but if you heard the premise to the film, which I don't want to spoil, even though like the first
bizarre.
5
Plot
minutes,
line. You wanna
Yeah.
ruin it. Wow. Yeah, I can only imagine because God Bless America, if I remember correctly, is about like this teenage girl who meets this guy. I don't think the relationship is ever sexual, but they just go around like just murdering
yeah,
people in
it's
America.
and it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like
Just because the guy, he's like an older, like 40, 50-something guy who like he sees the news and Justin Bieber and he's like, bullshit, I'm not going to live like on this planet and let this stuff be like the legacy that I left. That's fucking atrocious. It's no good. So then, they just go around just...
Yeah, I mean,
people.
he went from the guy who did the funny voices in the Police Academy movie. Well, he not the funny voices.
Yeah, he wasn't that. That was a different guy.
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy. Yeah, him. He went from that to now he's doing like social commentary on how fucked up America has become. So
Yeah.
he watches old stand up and then watch one of his movies. You could never connect.
It's so crazy. I remember I watched one stand-up. I think I immediately told you about it. It was he went on stage.
No, you sent me the link and I watched
yeah.
the video.
He goes on stage. He tells. Well, he kind of tells like the same 3 jokes for like 2 minutes. Just going, hey, how come? Ah! Hey, why like for 3 minutes straight. And then some stagehand rolls a tub out onto the stage.
He takes a shower.
And he takes a shower on
Yeah.
stage, telling those same jokes
Yep.
again, but while soaping up his hair and like just topless, so he's got like a shower curtain around him.
His rationale was some
All
people
right,
think
then.
they sing better in the shower, so he might tell jokes better in the shower. That was literally what he said.
Absolutely, I could not follow. I saw them rolling out the tub, and I was like, I don't.
Your brain just turned off.
Yeah, it was just
As
off.
a defense mechanism.
My brain was like, dude, anything's happening right now. Just blank it out. Just blank it all out. All right, let's. It's almost actually going to be an hour for Troy McClure. Good for him. Dabney Coleman plays Walter Sawyer. You may remember him from Tootsie as Ron. From the animated series Recess as Principal Prickly, and most recently on Boardwalk Empire as Commodore Lewis Kastner. Is that right? Does anybody watch Boardwalk Empire?
Nope.
No?
Not in a long time.
Steve Buscemi's on it.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
It
I
was a
watched
really good show.
All right. And finally, John Candy plays the voice of Don the Horse. You may remember him from Spaceballs as Barf, from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as Del Griffith, and most recently, Canadian Bacon as Sheriff Bud Boomer. John Candy died, unfortunately, in 1995, so that was his last
He's
film.
been dead that long.
Yeah, that's what I was like, wow, it really has been that long. You can
years.
find more information on the cast and crew on IMDb.com. Yeah, I was surprised, too, to hear that John Candy had been dead for...
Almost 20 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, next year would be 20 years. Yeah, wow.
It's pretty crazy. All right, let's get into some special information. Let's see if we can find anything. Did you guys find anything on this film? Anything
Nothing that's not already.
listed down
on
here?
this
Yeah,
list,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I went a little crazy. I found a lot of things. I mean, what did you guys find? Do you have anything written down, or did anybody find anything specific? Or
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably all kind of got the same shit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got.
I googled it, and the only stuff I found aside from like the obvious was other people ripping the movie apart.
yeah, yeah.
I really considered, I was like, I should just steal these people's jokes, but I didn't want to plagiarize the internet.
On this one, I was actually able to find the budget for the movie, which apparently was
lovely.
$9 million. Excuse me, was $9 million budget, and the movie made $6.4 million.
That's crazy.
I can't believe that many people.
Yeah,
went and
about
saw
$2
this
million
movie.
the weekend it was opened in theaters.
Well, I mean, inflation, so like tickets were less back then, so people spent more. I don't know math. I don't even
Yeah,
know
but
why I
they
tried to
still
bring that up.
decided to see this movie.
Point is, they left their homes and said, "Yep, that looks like a good idea."
I mean, I watched the trailer. Did anybody else watch the trailer?
No.
no.
I barely
wait.
watched it.
To the trailer to the movie we're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was the one who had to put it up there, so yeah, I did.
Yeah, well, I watched the trailer and nothing. All it did was make me decide, oh, I don't want to see this movie, but fuck, I got it because we're talking about it.
Yeah, it was. I think the trailer is pretty much everything of the film too.
Yeah, the trailer,
You
the
just don't
trailer,
have to watch the movie.
the trailer. I mean, people complain about trailers now giving shit away. I don't think they realize that like old school trailers, literally like, all right, well the movie's gonna start here, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then here's how it ends. And
The plot of the movie doesn't actually follow the plot of the. Well, I should say the plot synopsis of the movie doesn't actually follow the plot of the film itself.
Nope.
Because the synopsis is like, oh, Fred P. Cheney inherits a talking horse who's very good at the stock market, and he helps him get rich, and that's not what happens.
false.
He inherits a horse who is a terrible bigot. He haphazardly overhears someone talking about the stock market, which is probably illegal.
It's insider trading. That's
Yeah.
what got Martha Stewart locked
Yeah,
up.
so and that's it. I think he tells him like maybe 2 more stock tips in the entire film, and they're both terrible.
Horrible ideas.
They almost bankrupt him both times. All right, I got for this film that apparently I couldn't find what, but in the Spain version they cut 3 minutes. I don't know what, like how you could cut 3 minutes of this film, and it would still, like, cause the film just barely kind of made sense to me as it was. Like they'd be like, hey, somebody should stop that Fred. And then they'd cut to Fred in the place that he is with that person already there. Like, hey, Fred, how's it going? I'm like, there was no travel time. I have no idea if it's the next day. I don't.
Are you kidding me?
Maybe-
For a little while in the beginning, I wasn't even sure if the guy that was the father was his actual father or stepfather, and I don't think they even cleared that up until like 10 minutes into the movie.
I think the stepfather killed his mom. I'm pretty sure. I watched the movie.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, in the very beginning, they're like talking about it. He's all happy, and while he's, I guess we'll get to that later when we're actually talking about the movie. But he's actually talking like the horse is staring at them. Don's staring at them. He's like, I think the horse knows something. He looks like he knows something. Like she's getting very paranoid.
Yeah,
That the
'cause
horse is.
the horse
Knows
is
that they're having an
purposely
affair.
staring at them.
Yeah,
But what would he know? Why would she be?
Oh, I don't know. She's a crazy white lady. What's
yeah.
She's probably all poked out of her
You
mind
like
since
they're
the 80s.
fucking in a stable,
Which
like
is
what-
very common in this movie, by the way.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
stall is used exclusively for private relationships.
It's so is that a thing?
All I guess. Again, I don't.
Yeah, when you're a stockbroker, that's what you do. You trade stocks and then you fucking stables. I mean, that's
I can't even begin to imagine how crazy this film would have been if it was cast the way they originally wanted it to, which originally was supposed to be Joan Rivers playing. I don't know what they changed, because Joan Rivers would not have played Fred P. Cheney. It would have been a different character name. And then Elliot Gould was supposed to be the voice of Don the Horse, which Elliot Gould was. I only know him in
Ocean
series.
series.
Yeah, pretty much the whole series.
Is Saul.
I mean, he's
Almost
pretty
said
famous. He's
something.
been in other
Look,
things. So.
now let's just think. You guys, you're familiar with Joan Rivers, right?
Yeah.
Like her entire bit is telling like awful jokes.
Yeah.
Like they're not even funny.
Watching the film, maybe I could see her playing the horse.
Yeah.
Because the horse is a fucking dick in this whole film.
Yeah,
All he
but
does is laugh at his own jokes.
I'm going to bring this up right now because I was fucking horrified by it. Later on, when they go to, like, the racetrack to like, set up, like, oh, I got to set up your thing and put in your horse and all that stuff. Does anyone notice that when Walter, the stepdad, when he's showing around the horse to his friends, he's like, oh, it's their full breed horse, and, you know, we're going to ride the thing. When Don and Fred show up, they're talking like, oh, that's his horse. Yeah, that's a dang horse. And then Don, the horse, John Candy goes, yeah, that horse. Faggot.
no, I
Yes! I rewound it like 4 times. He mumbles under his breath, faggot. About it, and I was like, what the fuck? Why? That was
I
so
completely
uncalled
missed
for.
that.
no,
Yeah.
It's hard to hear because I think he said it, and then they were like, no, because Bobcat Goldthwait's line is over it.
Yeah,
so you can just barely hear it.
I bet it's one of those things that just kind of like slipped into the movie, kind of like
Well, that's the one of the things I found out about this was that apparently when it was doing with Elliot Gould as the horse, they did screen testings. It was awful. People did not like him as it. So they rewrote the script. Then they had John Candy come in and do the voice of Don. And John Candy went, no, I don't need that script. I'm just going to ad-lib all my lines. The whole script he improvised.
Which to me says they had to rewrite everything else because the horse had dialogue that was integral to the plot. It's not like, I mean, a lot of the stuff he was saying was nonsense, but there is serious shit that he says that he's having
He shows
conversations.
up to his parents' house and immediately goes, oh, I wonder what mom's cooking. Like, horses can do that.
Can we talk about how during the race he says, "Oh, I haven't run a mile since high school." What?
What? So horses have height? There's a lot of things about this film
we-
that make me question
Can
the
we
animal
talk
kingdom.
about how he uses a phone, please? Several times in the
Can-
movie?
can we
Yeah.
just- Can we make a why would you make this cut where we have the opening credits and then it's just a giant middle finger on the screen and the closing credits, and at the end we just say you're welcome, we just saved you an hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Because this movie fucking throws logic out the window. I didn't laugh, I didn't chuckle, I assumed this was supposed to be a comedy because it sure seems marketed that way.
Yeah,
But
Ended
the
up as a
lighting and
tragedy.
stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, it's funny that you mentioned that because in a 2011 interview on the WTF podcast with Mark Maron, he talked about how he got the script for Hot to Trot and he wrote on the cover of it, "Why would I do this?" To which his manager had replied with a $ sign on the cover. So we finally have an answer to the question we asked: why would you make this? Cash. Cold hard cash is the only reason he made this film. Yeah, and this film maybe should not have been made. It was nominated for 5 Razzies. I couldn't believe that they gave Worst New Star to Don the Horse.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it have gone to shouldn't John Candy have gotten
Oh, that's the thing that I absolutely love about this film. And by love, I mean is fucking awful. In all the TV spots and promo ads,
no acknowledgement?
no, it's starring Bobcat Goldthwait, Dabney Coleman, and Don the Horse. There's no mention of John Candy at all.
Oh, so he knew. He must have known this was gonna
Yeah.
flop and was just like,
Yeah.
Either that or
But
expected
no,
it to
I'm not
really
gonna use my
succeed.
name.
Because if you watch like Muppets movies, they're like starring Kermit the Frog. Like maybe
He might have because there's also there used to be a 100 number that you call and then he would just tell jokes and then tell you a little bit about the film. So maybe he thought like, oh man, this is my ticket. This is like the Star Wars franchise that it's just that there's gonna be an expanded universe of horse knowledge and
But like this movie baffles me. Number one, like someone came up with this idea.
Yeah.
Number two, someone greenlit this idea. Number three, tons of people agreed to participate. And again, we
can't
can
even.
we can write a $ sign on
Yeah.
there, and we can say, all right, yeah, my pride and my whatever is worth this much money.
No.
Sure, I can buy that, but like.
Yeah.
Who fucking marketed this movie?
I don't know.
Because at this point, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is out. Like
Yeah.
it's out on home
It
video.
came out, I think, like a week earlier.
There's no way John Candy's name isn't like it doesn't have a value. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you attach
Market
that?
him,
Yeah,
yeah.
why wouldn't you market
he's
that?
the biggest star in the movie.
Oh my god, he's absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not familiar with Bobcat Goldthwait's career to know if he might be slightly more famous than him at this point.
I don't
but-
think so.
I
mean,
don't think so. Yeah.
But yeah, just to go on further with what you're saying, IMDb lists quotes from the films, and the only quotes they had from this film was a quote from Don the Horse, which is, "Whoa, padded elevators, Fred, you finally made it." And another quote from Fred P. Cheney, which is about the atrium in his new apartment. "What is that, a little yard?"
That was like pretty good.
I actually didn't watch this film. I just spent all day.
Just doing Bobcat.
Yeah,
just
because I
practicing.
knew I wouldn't have to watch it. I wouldn't have to watch it. It would just be him.
Yeah, I mean-
making
Padded
runs.
elevators a status symbol? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I would think that would be like, okay, I'm in a mental hospital and this is in case the crazies murder all the staff on the floor and try
There's
to
only two
escape.
places that have those. It's industrial places because they hit big ass deliveries and for crazies. That's all.
Oh man! All right, let's go ahead and jump into this film. The film starts with a voiceover reading part of the definition of horse. I say part because halfway through there comes a word that the voiceover stumbles across and goes, fuck it, I don't. And they just keep
Yeah.
it, which should immediately tell you what type of film you're watching. They're 4 seconds of the film, and the actor went, screw this shit.
It doesn't matter.
This reminds me very closely of R.I.P.D. Remember R.I.P.D.? We start with 2 or 3. What a
So
yeah.
casual about the rules of its own universe.
Yeah, this one it's like a horse. It's fuck it. You know what a fucking horse is.
Yeah, and the voiceover after reading the definition of horse goes on to explain that God created horse, and then once he was done with that masterpiece, went on to lesser creatures like man, and then cue the jazzy intro.
Well, it's the 80s. So we need.
It was awesome.
Now,
This is all the music in this film.
Danny
like,
Elfman.
Danny Elfman, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
as we know of from Tim Burton fame.
Yes.
Because
yes. Well, he was supposed to originally direct this film.
Tim Burton?
Tim Burton, yeah, not Danny
Oh.
Elfman. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That would've
Hey,
made
it's
sense.
possible this fucking film.
I think it's good that Tim Burton didn't direct this
Yeah,
because then we just would have had another fucking Johnny Depp movie
Yeah.
where he acted weird. Thank
well,
God.
it was
Like-
he turned this down to go do Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so there
See,
you go,
yeah, all
yeah.
right.
At least he was smart with that.
Yeah.
In regards to that. So, yeah, after the jazzy intro, which I really like the song. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, to be fair, this was in Danny Elfman's like earlier days,
yeah.
like the Batman
Yeah,
movie
right, the-
sound, like
the
Simpsons
Rube Goldberg
theme,
machine. and
yeah,
all that
like
stuff.
good stuff instead of the fucking same shit over and over again we get today.
It's true.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Then we open after the jazzy theme. We open right up into the horse that we were talking about. Walter, whose wife's funeral is only in an hour, is in the horse stable with his mistress, or at least we presume his mistress at this point, because they're talking about sexual things and the wife and stuff like that. They go into an empty stall to have sex, but they're openly talking about how they're going to get married, even though the wife isn't buried yet. There's a horse that keeps looking in through a window.
Well, I
And-
just have one thing to say, sorry, even
Okay, go
before
ahead.
that,
No, no.
because even before they get to the stall, they show in that first scene that they stop next to a pile of horse shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which, not for nothing, if you happen to stop next to a pile of shit, wouldn't you smell the shit? But that's me, you know.
I think it's amazing that it only took this movie 30 seconds to put a horse shit stepping in horse
That's
shit.
true.
down.
Yeah.
30 seconds and we're
How'd you get it in
there.
there?
Can I ask something? What the fuck was with Dabney Coleman's teeth?
I
Why?
don't know.
Like,
I didn't get that, especially because they only pointed it out like 2 times in the film.
Yeah.
but like,
So weird.
It wasn't like a
Who-
big plot point.
so someone was like, all right, you know what? Dabney, look, this movie's hysterical, but we gotta turn this up a notch. Why don't we put these big, goofy, false teeth on you, and then you gotta talk like this the whole movie? Like, oh, what the fuck, man?
I don't know, especially with the whole like teeth exposition with Don. How he doesn't like his teeth, which I didn't get. Why does a horse?
Well,
Why is he
according to him,
self-conscious
all-
about his
he
teeth?
he actually says that all horses have insecurities. He says towards the end that all horses have insecurities. That they all have emotions and.
I guess.
He says it. It's in.
I don't think we can believe him because when we visit his family, we see that his brother is like borderline retarded and his father is insanely abusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And his
who's
mother
to-
apparently only talks horse, despite
Yeah.
everyone else
Yeah.
talking English.
Well, no, because the father passes down the gene.
Whatever. Whatever.
You guys
Disgusting.
didn't pay attention
Fuck
to
his
mythos?
father.
disgusting. They didn't say that. They just said that every so often a special horse is chosen.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
he tells him he has to pass it on.
Yeah, but that's just some patriarchal bullshit of, hey, pass your seed on because, that's how life works and I will feel unaccomplished if you don't.
It's true.
Can't let the bloodline die out.
If you notice, he also crossed his legs when answering his father's dying
Yeah,
wish.
that was
Yeah.
strange.
Holy crap. Yeah, this
is
horse
really
character
awesome.
is a piece of shit.
He's a really big
And I
asshole.
can't even begin to imagine how much John Candy ad-libbed into him being a piece of shit. I don't know if that was entirely his idea. He was like, yeah, I'm just going to make racist remarks all day about everything. And, that'll be the greatest horse character
But-
ever.
I don't know, like, I assume everybody here has seen quite a few John Candy movies, right? I feel like, except for the very specific ones where he made a joke about being a horse, where there are plenty where he's just making jokes,
Yeah.
have nothing to do with him being a horse, I feel like he just borrowed lines from other movies. Now, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but that's what it feels. It feels like, oh, now I'm being another John Candy character for this joke.
That's how every time he said something, I was like, I genuinely don't know if he's being sarcastic or delivering the line, just poorly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's hard.
I have to imagine. I hope John Candy was like, these fucking idiots paid me already.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a horse, and here's a fucking joke. Oh, all right. Well, cut for the day. I'm gonna go do coke or whatever before I die.
So much coke had to have been involved in this.
I do.
There had to been...
There's kind of a coke joke in it where Bobcat actually says, "I have to go powder my nose now," which, if that's a dude, that's code for.
I guess.
I don't think it was.
You haven't hung out with enough cokeheads.
No, but I don't.
I
think,
just
think
think
you've
you
been hanging out with too
misinterpreted.
many.
it.
Yeah,
problem.
I think you hang out with too many cokeheads
You
because
assume anytime any powder is involved, it's cocaine.
It's the 80s. Was it?
Worst NSA agent ever. That's where you are. All right, yeah. So then Fred shows up to that stable that we were talking about, and Carlos, the stable hand, tells him where his father is. He opens the stall, sees it, gets very angry, immediately just hurls a pitchfork at them.
Yeah.
Tries to murder them.
Yeah, and then the horse laughs. Like, we just see the horse that was looking at through the window, all of a sudden it laughs, and you're kind of just like, what? Like, why? Like, what the fuck? All right, whatever. And I was upset because that is the last time you see Bobcat Goldthwait express violence. Oh, well, not because at the end he just expressed a little bit of violence, but that's the last time you actually see him kind of carry through with violence. Yeah, because he hurled a
Instead of
pitchfork
empty
at them,
threats, yeah.
and it stuck into the wall. So
I hate this movie. None of the characters are smart. Like, none of them have logic. Like, we'll get more into this in a second with Dabney Coleman. But, alright, let's say. Got your wife, right? For some reason, for tax purposes, you give her half your company. I don't even know what the fuck, how that would help.
yeah, I know.
But then you go and fuck your mistress right in the stable. Like,
That's her stable too.
yeah,
like,
and
That's
the
her
mistress
horse.
actually mentions, like, oh, we do it at hotels and blah, blah. What the fuck? Like, yeah, keep doing it at hotels. You don't...
That's what normal people do.
Yeah, if you're gonna go fuck someone else, you do it in a hotel or you do it... Fucking do it in a movie theater.
no.
Don't do it
you're
in your
incorrect.
yard.
When you do it in your off-property property.
Yeah.
That's owned only by you, and everyone there knows you by name. That's what
Yeah,
you do.
no, let me...
Why a movie theater?
It's fucking somewhere that's not your house. Anyway.
I thought there was a specific reason for that. That seemed awfully specific.
No, dude, fucking...
He's just pulling from what he knows. That's it.
Yeah, I
He's just
mean-
pulling from what he knows. Oh man! All right. So after the horse laughs, we jump to Walter and his constituents are in their brokerage office, and they're talking about how they're going to screw over their investors. Talking about like, oh, the old bitch has a bunch of money. Don't worry about it. She won't know. Blah blah blah. Fred arrives. He bumps into the secretary, Allison, who plays a part in the film. She tells him, your stepfather's looking for you. He goes in there. He gets informed that the mother's dead. Not that she's dead. He already knew that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty bad if he just found that out. No, he knew that. We knew that in the last scene.
That's why he tried to murder them.
Yeah, we already established it. No, he gets told that he inherited half the company and a horse from his mother, and that he'll buy it from him for $525. Well, I mean, he says, "Oh, I'll buy it from him," and then passes him a number, which 525 up from 500.
Yeah.
they're
Oh
crossed
yeah.
out.
But
And obviously he declines, $500.
Yeah,
half
but
of a stock brokerage.
here, like, that's another thing. Like, obviously, it's a pretty big company. Like, okay, the writers or whatever wanted to make this guy seem like a piece of shit. Why make him retarded? Like,
Adversity. The main character has to overcome something.
He has to be an underdog.
Yeah.
no, not. I'm not talking about Bobcat. He's not. He talks. But,
It's the best way to describe it.
yeah, but Dabney Coleman, who would be like, here's $500 for half the company. So Dabney Coleman is his IQ is so low that he thinks Bobcat Goldthwait is simple enough to take $500. Like, I don't.
He probably could have bought the company out if he gave him a serious deal.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
If you would have given him a real, here's, I don't know, whatever, $10,000, he'd probably been like, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the scene before where you see him with another investor going, "Oh, take that old bitch's money. She won't know anything about it." I think that was just like a little insight of, beforehand of, this guy doesn't care about anyone else. So, yeah, of course he's going to low blow his stepson.
But as a
Yeah.
businessman, obviously, because this was his firm, right? This was
Yeah.
his brokerage firm. The only reason it's half Bobcat's is because he gave half of it to the wife
Yeah.
for tax reasons. We established that.
Yes.
So he's smart enough that he runs his own brokerage firm. It's got to be a pretty big brokerage firm. And then you make an offer for $500. Like,
Well, he clearly thinks Bobcat's an idiot. That's why he's trying to lowball him.
but he could have got the company. He could have bought
We
the
wouldn't have
half.
had to sit through this movie.
Yeah, if Dabney Coleman would have made a serious offer, we wouldn't have had to sit through this movie. We wouldn't there wouldn't be a story.
Don the horse would have been glue,
Yeah.
and it would have been the end of the day.
he would have been dog meat.
Oh, okay.
That's what he tells
All right,
him.
let's just
Dog meat.
think. I know, the sequel bit comes to the end. Let's have a rewrite, right? We're gonna have a rewrite right now. All right, Dabney Coleman. Dabney
I've
Coleman.
seen the film. I don't need to see it again.
Dabney Coleman makes a serious offer, buys out Bobcat Goldthwait's half for $50,000, and then Bobcat Goldthwait and a talking horse go on an adventure across the country with $50,000.
I wouldn't even have offered 50,000. I would have tried to offer him 5,000 and escaped off that way.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would have been more excited if it was a cross-country adventure, like a buddy comedy road
Look.
trip with a guy and a talking horse.
You know what? I
You're gonna
think,
go and write that movie.
I think the rest. Copyright. Nobody steal that shit.
Yeah.
No, but I think it perfectly personifies what we're trying to say when later on in the film, the man who runs the brokerage firm is just standing around in his office questioning why the other guy, who's also part of his company, is making money.
Yeah.
Hey, how's that guy making? We should make money from him instead. And then at one point later on, I don't care about spoilers. They sabotage him, which is their own company.
Yeah.
So clearly he has no regard for anything outside of himself.
He'd rather see the
it's
company
it's a
fail.
miracle that he's made it this far in his own business. It was probably mostly the wife doing the business.
yeah, but
Because it makes no sense that this guy could have controlled the company for that long, making such poor decisions.
Maybe that was the thing. Maybe because the original script, maybe the horse was a genius, and he was stalking, so he gave the wife all the business tips.
I don't believe that. Because this horse is clearly not a stock
If that was the
broker.
case, then the wife would have made an appearance in the film. Or the mother, I should, because she
I-
doesn't.
yeah.
That Bobcat Goldthwait's real father does. He shows up in the film for some reason.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do a flashback.
You don't remember when Don's when they're in the RV and Don starts talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
the dad and
Okay.
Elvis and all that stuff and
Yeah,
Yeah.
how the father
blonde
found
guy?
him.
no, you completely blocked that out, huh, Delta? Holy shit!
I mean,
I think he rewrote this movie in his mind as a buddy.
I
comedy.
remember them in the RV.
Yeah, you remember when they first go and he's like, "Oh, come on, we gotta go, Don. I got the RV out back," and they're driving. And he's like, why? And he's like, "Oh, let me tell you, I was used to be friends with your mom, and then your dad would drive me around cross
Yeah,
country.
okay,
Yeah,
all
and we'd
right.
sing Elvis, and yeah.
Okay. Yes, I
So it
recall
was the
that.
dad's
now.
horse, and
Yeah.
he got locked up in the stable pretty much after the dad died. and
Yes,
that was it. Yeah.
yes. Okay. So now we have all that down. Are we done? Can we move on now?
So then, why wouldn't the kid know about the horse if it was his dad's prized possession?
Yeah, how come they kept the talking horse thing a secret?
I don't know
because it was a lot of pressure for an animal.
yeah, the
Of
talking
course,
horse world is a complicated situation.
and he hates Mr. Ed.
Self-hating, really.
Hates his teeth.
That doesn't make sense. It's another reason he's a fucking dick is because he states that he doesn't like Mr. Ed. Why? Oh, because he's not a talking horse. He's like, okay, so you hate him? He's like, yeah, horses don't do that unless, I forget what he says, like,
They
when
stick a carrot up their
yeah,
ass.
so apparently
Yeah.
he hates Mr. Ed for being molested.
Yeah. He hates Mr. Ed for being mistreated by his animal handlers.
Absolutely awful. This is, I cannot get
Ed
past
actually
what a
talks?
piece of shit
You
character
know,
this guy
I gotta
is.
say, I hate those poor exploited Chinese workers.
Oh my
who
god,
are
they just
forced.
lay around and get forced into labor all day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
they-
dicks.
Oh, they stand up for themselves.
Ugh. All right, so yeah, after Fred gets blowballed, he goes back home to his mansion, which is the place he lives with his parents, and the mistress we saw from earlier answers the door, and she's like, "Oh, I was told to pack your stuff," and he just gives him a bunch of garbage
Plastic
bags.
cans full of empty cans.
Yeah, plastic. Yeah, plastic.
'Because
bags
I'm
full of it, yeah.
almost
Oh, they had
positive
to be
that's what
filled.
it's
Yeah,
telling
that's what I
you.
wrote down too. It's like they have to be filled with empty aluminum cans. They have to be.
Like, I don't know if that was supposed to be a joke or if the props department was that lazy. you
Did
know?
I-
Probably that lazy.
Did I miss something, or is there a point when he's leaving the house and he goes, "Well, every dog has his day," and then drops the bag and a dog sound is made, as if there's a dog in the bag?
No, I
Nobody else
no.
heard that. He goes, "Well, every dog has the
added horrible
day,"
parts of this
and then
movie.
goes, "Son, I analyzed
You
this
guys
shit
are
out of
making
this
your own
film.
movies.
No, you need to listen to like the stupid background
You
noises.
gotta look for the subtext.
Like, I don't understand how I'm the only one who hears this, because anytime anyone whispers in any film, I go, I have no idea what's going on. Anytime anyone whispers
You know,
anything.
and I had the
That's 'cause
movie
you're-
playing at like 200% volume. Maybe I'm just deaf. I don't know.
Jeez,
That could
I
be.
don't know. All right. So after he gets kicked out of his house, Fred goes right back to the stable to meet the talking horse.
What? No, I think, was he going there to sleep? I got the impression he was going there, like, all right, well, I guess I'll sleep here.
Oh, well, yeah?
That was the impression I got. I guess I'll go sleep where I just caught my stepdad fucking his mistress.
Oh, really?
That was the impression I got.
I got that he was just there to pick up the
Yeah,
horse,
he was
and then
there
he
with
was
the
gonna
horse.
leave. Where? Not a fucking clue, but
Look at him
sell the
plan.
horse.
All right, well, I don't have any money or a place to live. Well, I'll just get my horse, and
Just gonna,
That's his only-
reenact a poorer version of Larger Than Life.
we'll just reenact the
awesome.
scene from
Don't you
Empire
do that,
Strikes
man.
Back, where we cut open the animal and sleep
just-
inside it.
Oh,
Inside of
that's
it.
no, awful. Yeah,
How's
so
it feeling?
he goes to the stable for some fucking reason.
It's his only asset is the horse.
That's a bad asset.
Yeah, what is he
can sell
what
a
are you
horse.
gonna do?
Who's
Yeah.
gonna buy?
A dog food factory or a glue factory or
they're probably not gonna buy it.
you can sell a horse.
Are you saying that Bobcat Goldthwait's plan was he was gonna get the horse, presumably ride it, right? He's gonna ride it to the glue factory.
Literally, never occurred to me that he could have ridden a horse. It literally never occurred to me that he had a horse, and horses are rideable.
Even though it happens at the end.
Yeah,
of the
no, didn't. Like, at no time did I ever think, why doesn't he just ride Don? Like,
Yeah, seriously, until you mentioned it to me, I really didn't put that together either.
So his plan was to get the horse and presumably ride it to the glue factory and just knock on the door and be like,
Hello?
how much do you want to buy this
$100.
for?
We've established this man's an idiot.
oh man, Jesus Christ! So he gets the horse, or he meets the horse, and then it just starts talking. Right? There's no.
Well, he starts talking, and then Fred Why do people do that? Like, if you found a talking animal, would your first instinct be to start screaming
Yeah.
like it's trying to murder you?
No, but I would probably freak the
I would
fuck
be freaked
out.
out, but I wouldn't like react like it was trying to attack me. Like,
I also wouldn't call the only people who I know hate me and go, "This has got to be you. It's a conspiracy theory," and hang up. Because that's what
I
he
know,
did.
I
He
know,
called
I'm
Walter
seeing
and the
from him.
mistress, and they're like, "I know it's you, Sawyer. You're not gonna get to me."
First of all,
just do the rest
Bob-
of the podcast in that voice.
Bobcat and a lady who later tries to molest him are the only two people who react even close to reasonably to the fact that there's a horse that talks.
And that lady was very drunk.
Oh,
I
my
will get to
god,
that
she
later,
was
yeah.
ready for the dick.
And the horse.
She didn't care if there was a dick. She was going to make one and then take it.
Yeah.
She was
And-
insane.
Can we just stop for a second?
Also, I'd like to know, again, jumping way the fuck ahead, but how did she get anchovies from a chip bowl? Did anyone notice that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I didn't catch
She's
that.
like,
Yeah.
"You want an anchovy?" I'd eat it. And then she's just walking around with a bowl of chips.
Her
There's a bowl of
and
anchovies.
Yeah.
they're the only two who fucking react relatively reasonably to the fact that there's no talking horse. Anybody else who, like, when it's revealed, they just go, huh?
To be fair, we don't know that lady reacted to the talking horse. She could have been horrified by the sexual harassment she perceived.
What?
Because she's like, "Oh, that the horse, blah blah blah. You know, it's so lifelike." And Don
looks
goes,
right at his
"Yeah,
dick.
it's still that size even when it gets wet."
Even after I go swimming.
Yeah,
He
Yeah.
didn't have a dick.
He does have
You're implying that horses have no genitals.
No, I'm implying that horse had no genitals.
Yes, he does.
All right.
That's a first. That's why she says it's so lively. She gets down on all fours
But-
and gets up in there.
Did you see the dick?
I didn't, but
no,
there's
it
nudity
was
laws.
sheathed,
Yeah, dude.
which I believe is the technical term
Have
for
you
not
ever
having
seen
an
Freddy Got
erection when you're an
Fingered, how
animal.
It comes out. Haven't you ever watched horse porn?
Seriously, dude.
No, I don't.
You're white. You have the internet. You've never watched people fuck animals.
I once watched a
It's
porn.
out there everywhere. I do it accidentally, constantly. Oh, I can't tell you how many times I click a video
And you
where
don't know if you feel bad for the animals or not because they're getting fucked.
like you have an erection.
Yeah, they're participating willingly. It's not like they're getting ridden.
That's why men
They're
can't
the
get
one-
raped in prison.
Did they have an erection?
Yeah, because erections.
The more you know.
Friendly reminder: vote Jimmy Time for city council.
Erections, one and all.
Yeah.
Rape if you're hard.
Wait, that's a terrible platform. I'll give everyone erections, which means they can't be raped.
Yep.
Is that an anti-rape platform or a pro-rape platform?
Well,
You're trying to abolish rape. You're trying to lower rape rates by changing the definition
By
of
causing
rape.
rape to be a constant.
if everybody has an erection, fucking women are in trouble, right?
I feel like if women could rape, then everything would just balance out.
Women can rape.
See? There you go. It all balances out.
All
Glad
right,
we
it all
agree.
balances out. You heard it here,
Platform's
folks.
back on.
You heard it here, folks.
I'm pretty sure this is how this argument started. Was that girl trying to rape? Fucking yeah, exactly.
She grabs him by it's so weird. Well, we'll get to it. We'll get
Are
to
you
that.
are you really gonna tell me Bobcat Goldthwait would turn down getting fucked?
He did.
Yeah. He runs
He
away from
immediately
her.
ran away from her.
Why?
I don't know because
Because she
was in
smelled like anchovies, first of all.
Yeah, but I'm sure this dude's never been fucked.
I don't know that. I don't know.
You know what him and
He's a
Don the
hot
horse
shot.
do behind closed doors?
And he's a hotshot young stockbroker. He can pay for sex now. First thing he did was probably fuck a hooker. We'll get to that part. We'll get to that part. We're not even out of the fucking stables yet.
Yeah, I have no idea why you're so involved in Bobcat Goldthwait's sex life already. That's so weird to me, but all right, yeah. So he talks to the horse. The horse is like, for some reason, I have the keys and own an RV. Let's go steal it and
With
drive
horses
away.
painted all over it, by the way.
Well, they show the outside.
The outside where they were driving, there's a giant horse painted on the side, and on I guess a spare tire because RVs have that. There's a picture of a horse.
It's a horsemobile.
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
portable stable.
All right,
And
so
they go to Don's house, right?
yeah,
they go to the
immediately
farm.
and on the way there, they talk about all that childhood exposition that we were explaining about
Both-
this series of
yeah,
flashbacks.
we get Don's childhood. Which why the fuck?
Which immediately you're told what a piece of garbage he is, really, because he travels around, I guess America, whatever, with a blind black man that he convinces that he's a short, hairy Italian man. So he's just duped this guy into traveling around town, around the country with him, which I think is horrible. It's bad enough the guy's blind and
Yeah.
just pretty much a gypsy just wandering.
But that's a funnier movie than this. A blind man.
Oh, absolutely!
Fuck! Those 15 seconds of the black blind man.
Yeah, I'd like to know the story beforehand where he
The
traveled
prequel?
with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I guess they just never touched each other ever.
Yeah,
And he didn't realize he was a horse.
Except for in that one flashback where he goes, "Wait a minute."
And then he still travels with him, by
Yeah,
the way.
and then he just goes,
He just accepts it.
Yeah. And then he falls. Where did that?
He stands too close to the edge. He has horrible balance, according to Don. And he's, for some reason, always stood right on the edge. Presumably because Don didn't tell him. he was
Yeah,
right on
where the edge was.
Because
Yeah.
he's blind.
Gee, again, what a piece of garbage.
And then he said
this
the
horse
train
is.
stopped and he went flying off. That's not how momentum works.
Yeah.
The train doesn't stop and then you fall sideways.
Sideways, yeah.
That's not how. I mean, I don't know how blind momentum works, but
Yeah, and then I think he makes a joke. He's like, "Oh, he's still probably tumbling all the way down to St. Louis or something
And then
like
he
that."
laughs about it.
Yeah.
All right, but even though this is a very important scene because he explains the backstory of horses, which apparently all horses and I believe animals understand English.
No, not all animals.
No?
Because there was a scene where he's talking to a dog, because he says he speaks other animals' languages.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That
So then,
he's
yeah.
like Dr. Doolittle. So
Okay.
only horses can
So
understand English.
only, for some reason, only horses can
And
understand
presumably
English.
parrots, because...
Which leads me to believe, are all horses just dicks then? Because if they can understand us and they find no way to communicate with it, like we're like move and a horse is just like, and that's a dick horse. Like fucking send that bitch to the glue factory. Because he's being spiteful on purpose. He totally understands the language and is just ignoring you like he's a fucking
This is a child.
yeah, like a goddamn child.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's me though. That's how I feel about that.
I agree.
And I'd also like to point out that The Rock has absolutely ruined Elvis for me. Because during this scene, Don and the dad, they're singing Heartbreak Hotel. And when they get to the part, it's down at the end of Lonely Drive, my brain goes, Jabroni Drive! That's what it is. Because The Rock is so ingrained into me, apparently. All right, so they arrive at Don's parents' home, and we meet his brother, who, I don't know what's wrong with him. I think he has adult onset retardation.
They seem to imply that it's because he watches too much television.
It doesn't make any sense, though.
Which seems like a bad platform for a movie.
Yeah.
Watching TV makes you retarded, kids.
Or to continue let him watching television.
Yeah, so they say that his mind snapped after his favorite horse actor's head was in the bed in The Godfather.
Which implies he doesn't know how acting works.
That's true.
And
Or
it
did they
also
really kill that horse?
implies that, yeah, it was a real horse that they killed. And how do horses get TVs? How?
Or use phones.
And can we talk about how when they get to Don's parents' house, there's a shoe hung above the doorway?
Yes, I wrote that.
What?
It's a
Didn't
person
get
shoe
that.
hung because people hang horseshoes
No, no,
above
no,
their
no.
doorways for good luck.
I get that.
Yeah.
What I don't get is how a horse nailed a shoe to a wall.
How the fuck does a horse watch a TV? The
It's just a
TV's
phone.
look,
Yeah,
no,
the,
but
the
all right,
TV,
no,
but the TV is a turn knob, doesn't it? So I can understand that they could turn.
but the TV's outside,
Yeah,
right?
that-
TV's outside, so
I have to
We're
presume
farmers.
that there was exactly. I have to presume that there was some sort of owner or farmer that runs this stable that just never goes into his own backyard. People show up with a stray of horses and they just come
Leave
right
them
in.
there. And
But what I'm saying is there's a TV outside. If it rains, that TV's destroyed. Who's taking this TV in and out? Right? There's no
maybe they're in the
way.
middle of a
Maybe
horrible drought.
maybe it's Lou. Maybe he's
Trap.
figured it out.
No, he just goes knock knock knock. That's all he does. All he does is quote the Three Stooges, which I want to say. What came close to making me laugh was 4-second clip of the Three Stooges that we were watching on TV. I wanted to go, wait, go back. I want to
back
watch
to the
more of that because I'd rather watch the Three Stooges because that would make me laugh.
First 15 minutes is backstory and exposition. Next hour, Three Stooges clips.
Fine, I'm down.
It just turns into a Mystery Science Theater 3000 with horses.
I'm all right. That's fine.
All right, so they get there and immediately we get this typical oh, racist bullshit, you're different, so we're gonna ask you all those inappropriate questions. The mom's like, what's it like to have missionary sex?
Heard the
What's
exact
it
line.
like
Oh,
to
to
face
face
someone
yeah.
while
Look at
during
someone.
sex?
The father says he can't tell if they're man or woman unless they're naked, which
Yeah.
assumes he's seen humans naked a lot.
Yeah, it's awful.
Which ties us back to the horse porn.
Yeah,
Oh, he was used for.
I guess so.
That's why he hates people.
Maybe. Yeah, they all hate people, I should point out. Every horse. Don and his dad and all the brothers kind of.
Lou doesn't. Lou loves the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Maybe he loves them because they're beating the shit out of each other, and they're always hurting one another. He loves the violence.
Yeah, so they, Oh, yeah, this was insane to me. That they go inside, they're like, yeah, come in, humans, they all want to eat. Already bigoted against all humans. Whatever, fine, moving on, I don't really care about that. They go inside, and immediately, Don's father, don't have kids, they're nothing but disappointments. That's the first thing he says. So, I'm just like, why? Why are we here? Why did Don come back to this place?
What does this contribute?
There's literally no reason.
I couldn't figure out the purpose of the scene. Except when it ended, I was like, oh, this was to get rid of Don.
Yeah. The implications of this scene mean that there was a part of the conversation where Bobcat Goldthwait went, hey, Don, where do your parents live? And then he just drove there without ever questioning it.
That's true.
Yeah,
He wanted to get rid of him.
Because at the end, after the father's done being like, don't have kids, they're bullshit, and Bobcat Goldthwait's like, all right, well, see ya, and just leaves. And Don's like, hey, wait a minute, where you going? Apparently implying that Don had no idea what the
That
plan
this
was.
yeah.
Now, do you think Bobcat was like, what's the address? Or do you think he was like, hey, can you give me directions to your parents' house? Or do you think Don knew the directions? It was like, oh, make a left here. Okay, nope, yep, all right.
I was about to say that.
Second traffic light, make a right.
Maybe Don just made him go there, and Bobcat, once he realized, oh, this is his family. Well, this is the end of my road, I guess, with him.
But why would Don want to go back? He said he hated his father.
Why the fuck this movie? How about that?
It is so much bullshit. Let's not let's stop dwelling on the pointlessness.
Let's stop dwelling on this movie.
The whole fuck. Bye, everybody. Bye. It's over.
Going to Applebee's.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So outside of the house, Don just pretty much just tells Fred, run the business. Go back to the company and run it. Mm-hmm. And also that he's moving in with him. Fred says he can't because he's a horse. And then Don calls him a bigot.
Yeah.
And then all humans are bigots. And then Fred just drives away.
I thought it was really funny, his line, that all humans are bigots with their I have it written down.
Fuck
We have it written
you.
down.
I have it written down with your automobiles and your pants and your postal
Postal
system.
service. He hates the postal service.
You think that's like a racist thing, like a Pony Express type?
I was
of
about to say maybe he was a big
that's
fan of the Pony
only
Express. Yeah.
connection I can make. I can assume. All right, so automobiles, right?
Yeah.
Automobiles. Oh, you fucking replace us with automobiles. Well, isn't that a good thing? You're not
Yeah.
used for
You're not
fucking
beasts of
slave
burdens
labor anymore.
I don't know.
And what's the other pants?
They don't like pants.
Well,
Back to the fucking.
I don't
bus
like
porn.
pants, so
yeah, but you don't like if you were a horse, you wouldn't have to wear them. It's not like they force horses to wear pants. If they forced horses to wear pants, I can understand you fucking people with your pants, putting them on me and shit.
making everybody wear.
Yeah, I don't want to wear pants. Nobody wants to wear pants, but you're a horse. You don't have to.
That's how long does a 20-minute anti-pants rant? Don't even get me started on
Why
the
would you make
seams.
pants?
Erections for all and pants for none.
Oh
Good
man.
campaign slogan.
Yeah. All right. So after Fred drives away, he for some reason just immediately agrees with Don and goes back to the broker's office and just like, yeah, I'm gonna work here now. And he
And
gets.
then he decides, like, okay, well, this half is my half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he
not
literally
how
splits
it
it
Well,
up.
not at all how it works. Yeah.
Like, this isn't a 19 fucking 80s
No.
sitcom where we're like, this half is my half of the house.
I think I can speak for everybody when I say he's like, we're just gonna cut this down the middle, and then you're like, that's not how it works, Bobcat. And then it cuts to them cutting the scene down, and you're like, no, that's still not how
Yeah,
it
they,
works.
They
You
put the
shouldn't
tape
be
and they
doing
start
that.
painting.
Yeah, they paint half of the. Oh my goodness! And then later on, he turns into some fucking crazed dictator. Like not aggressively, but he turns into some crazed dictator because he has some sort of motion sensor where
Alarm.
yeah, he can't pass over into the white zone.
Yeah.
Oh
the whites
man.
only zone.
First thing he does, first order of business is to order a bunch of pizzas.
Yeah, he's like, I'm busy. I like pizza, please.
Where does he get the money?
I don't know.
Yeah, to initially try. I mean,
Initially-
maybe the half of the company comes with.
I suppose
He doesn't
yeah.
have. All right, because he gets half of the company, but he doesn't have any liquid assets. He doesn't have money, cash to spend. He doesn't have a credit card to his name.
Maybe it's petty cash.
Oh, he's just fucking.
Yeah, he's
Well,
just stealing
all
from
the cans he had, he cashed in for the deposit.
All right, I can buy it. He fucking had a bunch of cans.
Oh man! All right, so
That's what it was. He was a hobo first.
What? Did you just imply that there's an entire? Forget. I mean,
Because
no.
he said that he was in the mailroom and he didn't like it, and then he quit. What did he do in between?
He
Has a bunch
hobo
of cans?
drifted.
He
He's a hobo
mooched.
drifter.
He mooched.
a hobo drifter.
Exactly, drifting around.
No, he didn't drift around. He had a house.
Yeah.
And he mooched.
Remember, he went back to it and tried to put his key in the lock and it wouldn't work.
And they were like, here's your can.
Yeah,
for
here's
eat
your
it.
can.
Because he was
cans,
busy
bitch.
drifting.
Get the fuck out of here. Go drop your dog in our driveway.
It didn't happen.
So yeah, next we see Don. He comes back home to the stable, and this is when we get that the other couples having sex in that.
Stockbrokers love to fucking stables,
I
man.
don't know what it is.
Horace Musk really turns.
Where
them
is
on.
this stable?
Like for personal research, like you're gonna go.
I mean,
Think about getting to the stock market. It's clearly disappointment for success.
gotta be a pretty sensual
It's
place.
clearly you just show up and they just fuck you. Like you don't have to bring anybody.
No, all right, but is this like on their property?
I assume it's some sort of off-site like
Yeah.
Well,
like
because
Like the Belmont or something
because,
like that.
Because it's established the brokerage firm, it's in LA.
Right.
Right? The brokerage firm is in LA. Their house, let's assume, is out in the suburbs of LA. I kind of got the impression that the stable was kind of like part of their property.
part of the estate.
Part,
Oh, yeah?
part of the estate.
Well, it
which
might-
means people who work for this dude are like, hey man, hey boss, can I use your stable to fuck tonight?
what? Yeah, I know.
It's entirely possible that
Well-
that's an entirely separate stable because this is after Don got dropped off at his parents' house.
No, it's
If
the
you
same
tell
stable.
me that there's that
Separate stable.
yeah,
No.
there's a separate fornication stable.
No, it's the same stable because Don says I'm home.
Oh,
When
Well,
he
it could be one
arrives.
of those things where it is like on their estate, but it's so far away from the house, and they have other people like they rent it out.
I don't think it is because
They rent out this fuck room in the stable.
Pretty
Is
much.
what you're telling me.
Yeah, like a hotel.
That's actually where
That
they get
is
most
the
of money from.
hotel.
This is a brokerage firm. These guys have money. They can rent a nice hotel to fuck hookers
That's
and
how
whatever.
you stay
Well, the
rich.
hookers pay
Quarters
are
on
too
the-
much.
Oh Jesus!
He spend it all on the hookers.
And the cocaine.
How did money work in the 80s? Can someone explain that to me?
Very well.
Oh, all right. Well,
Better than it is now.
Yeah,
we need to go to some stables and turn this goddamn economy around.
All right. Yeah. So then he gets
trying
the
to
stock tip from the guy.
You don't want to encourage that?
He calls Fred and lets him know what the stock tip is. Fred hears it and goes, yeah, whatever, fine, good enough, and immediately just like puts in the deal, makes a bunch of money. We see like a spinning newspaper clip that lets us
80s
know
montage.
But
he's totally rich.
here's what happens. The fucking broker, and I mean literally the broker
yeah,
who's
the broker,
doing the
yeah.
fucking. The broker leaves like mid-fuck,
Mid-say, yeah.
goes and makes a phone call, and I was like, hey, I gotta make a phone call to let this guy know how important this stock tip is.
Well, I assume they were done.
He makes a
fucking.
phone call.
No,
to
he
let
goes back in there to
I
continue.
know, but she was like, "I'm cool." They were, that's mid. You don't fuck more than once in a session.
All right. So let's say either between sessions or mid coitus, this guy gets up and makes a phone call to say I have to make a phone call. That's literally what happens. He makes a phone call to say he has to make a phone call. That.
He traded spots with the horse for a few seconds while he made the phone call.
Okay,
Back to
well,
horse porn.
the guy makes a phone call to say he has to make a phone call. And that is how suddenly Fred P. Cheney gets the hot tip because the broker didn't realize, oh wait, I don't have to make 2 phone calls to make 1 phone call.
Look, the fucking film, all right. it's just grade D horse meat. Can we just fucking? We
Semantics over
we
here.
get that it's bullshit. Every scene has something like that in it.
That's why we're doing this.
It's so bad. Like, I understand you. I want to be as angry as you are, but I can't. I fucking can't. It's so like I don't understand how
He's
you
treading
still.
the anger line really
I don't
well for you
understand
right now.
how we're like, what is it, 6, 7 scenes in this film, and you still have enough passion about the plot holes. in it.
Because why would you make this? That's
Oh, God.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah. So after the spinning newspaper to tell us that Fred, made it big, we get this weird like 10 seconds half montage where they finish putting new furniture in just Fred's office.
Yep.
And then he kind of just rocks back and forth to the soundtrack that's playing.
And then he gets embarrassed for a second, and then he stops.
Does it? Yeah. And then he
Yeah.
when the music stops, he kind of like winks towards the camera and like pulls the blinds closed. Like that's the end of the montage. That's not. It happens like two more times in the film. Where they do this little fake little montage. Yeah.
No, we get a couple of them.
Oh my! I don't know what the point of it is because it's not like they're like, all right, no, that's cool. Let's just use this to montage into the future. They montage like 10 seconds ahead.
Yeah, no,
they don't jump like a day ahead. They don't need a montage for that.
It's the 80s. You needed at least one montage.
could've-
It's just, again, if
There should have been a training montage.
this movie would have started with Fred's half of the company being bought out, we could have had a cross-country montage between the adventures.
But no.
You really want that movie to do?
Yeah, it's just better than this movie.
Just go home and watch Larger Than Life starring Bill Murray, and you'll be happy.
Excellent film.
Is this when Fred goes and buys?
Yes, this is when he gets the
ritzy-
apartment.
that has a fireplace.
Yeah, the atrium, all that stupid shit. And I don't know. There's nothing about the scene that I'm just
There's
like.
nothing, yeah.
I'm so glad.
It's just moving on to that. Should have been part of the montage, really.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we cut to another montage.
Another montage. He shows in the house. Then we get the little, what is that? A little yard thing, and it's a piano and all this stuff. And then she's like, "All right, well, it's yours now. Bye." Like, 'cause apparently that's how buying a house works. You walk in, you go, "Yeah, I'd like it," and they go, "Okay, see ya."
You have here in the notes that says she asks him if he has a lot of stress, and we get the full Bobcat.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well,
Because she's like, you must have a lot of stress at work, and he's like, no, I'm not stressed. Yeah, that's the full Bobcat.
Yeah.
That's what that is. How you proud of yourself now that you made me do that? No.
So then we go to a clip of him like driving down the road in his new convertible.
Yeah, well, after I just want to talk about this. Was Bobcat Goldthwait supposed to actually be singing Tutti Frutti, or did they play Tutti Frutti and we were supposed to just pretend that there was some terrible, awful Bobcat version of Tutti Frutti playing because the lady that sold him the apartment reacted to him playing the piano and singing? You see her go, "Blue," when she's in the elevator.
Now, I'm under the impression that it was him singing.
See, the problem I have with that is seconds later when he's driving in the car, he pulls up to another car just like his and goes, "Man, these speakers are great!" Meaning that the song we're hearing is playing from his speakers.
Yeah, but later on in the movie, he actually sings again.
He does.
He does.
He does.
Yeah, he actually like ends up singing.
Yeah, when he's in the bathroom.
He's not like, "Man, you're not menu, blah, blah."
No, he's singing like a normal human being.
Yeah,
it's weird.
he sings like.
It made me question why he didn't have a musical career. Like, I don't know why.
Funny voices.
I think it was just because it was such a great contrast between the Bobcat voice and him singing, and I was like, dude, phenomenal! Grand Ole Opry tomorrow.
It's like you expect to see that shit on YouTube, like American Idol blows the judges away, and then it's like the fucking little.
Yeah, just the fucking little.
Yeah.
Whatever. The fucking So after that terrible dance montage, followed by a driving montage, Bobcat Goldthwait calls somebody on his car phone just to let them hear the sounds of traffic.
Yeah.
Hey, you know where I'm calling from? Listen. And
then we montage 3 minutes ahead again.
Yeah, another 3 minutes. Oh, man.
We had so much material to work with.
Yeah, So then we go back to Fred's office, and this is the only scene that I genuinely laugh at. Where Allison walks in, she's like, "Oh, you got any hot stop tips for a friend or whatever?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm looking at this one company, and it's looking pretty good." And she's like, "That company went bankrupt this morning."
I thought so.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been thinking," and she's left.
Yeah,
she's like,
she's
"Oh,"
gone.
he's like, maybe we can have a date and go out. And while he's asking her out on a date, some very large black man walks in, like, "What are you talking about? That's my bowling league night," and leaves. I don't know why.
You would have accepted had it not been.
It's everything about that scene. The fact that he would have accepted had he not had bowling. That I guess people just leave their office doors open and speak in full volume all the time.
The best part is the dude worked for FOTS delivery service.
Yeah, that was another thing that. Apparently, nobody in the building could have delivered that message. That man had to go to the building, up the stairs, and hand him the memo that we never read.
Nope.
We never learn it's never brought up again.
The only reason for FOTS to be there is for that guy.
Yes.
Could have been anybody.
Which I enjoyed. So I genuinely enjoyed. Man, that's my bowling league. Like, he is genuinely upset. That he's like, if any other night.
What was that the only black person in this film besides the blonde guy?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the blonde guy.
I think there
and
may
FOTS.
have been in one of his
In the party?
constituents when they're drinking. Oh, Fred's gone. Let's all drink to Fred. When they're in Walter's office, and Allison quits. When the dickbag sidekick is telling her on the phone everything he
Yeah,
did.
but I just don't think there was a black person.
Oh, I thought there was.
Did you write down that there was a black person there?
No, I don't keep track of that. Jesus Christ. I kept track of the Asians, but not the blacks, unfortunately.
How many Asians were there?
One. Jesus Christ. You get that I'm doing a bit, right? You understand that? All right, so after all that stupid bowling league stuff, we get another scene that makes me question horses. We have Don walking down the street, and he steps on a newspaper, and two things happen that I just cannot understand. I refuse to understand it.
Oh,
Number one,
the logic is bothering you now.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Oh, my God. No. He steps on a newspaper and then reads the fucking newspaper.
Yeah.
Which means apparently he can just read anything.
He went to high school.
Oh, yeah, of course.
No, we established later he went to high school.
And then he says, I think it's time I paid you a visit. To himself, talking
Yep.
about Bobcat Goldthwait. But he says it while chewing gum.
No, but he doesn't just say, "Oh, I think I'll pay." He's like, "I think I'll pay him a visit."
Yeah.
And
Very clear. Like, I don't... Did he buy the gum?
what? No, let's take a minute. Let's pause, take a break, and talk about the talking animation. Which it wasn't animation. It was,
I
you
thought it
know,
was a real
Oh, it's real horse, yeah.
yeah, it's a
like
real
some peanut
horse,
butter
and
or
they do
something.
the fucking Mr. Ed shit where they put peanut
They
butter in his
molest
mouth.
him.
I was about to say, they put a carrot in it?
Carrot up his ass.
You know, part I will say, part of me thought when he made the joke about them shoving a carrot up his ass to get him to talk, I was like, is John Candy alluding to the fact that that's what they're doing for this movie?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's... Because why would... Like, what a weird joke to make,
Yeah.
unless that's what was happening.
I-
So maybe this is the one scene where they're like, alright, we're out of carrots for the day, but we still gotta get this scene. Let's just put peanut butter in his mouth. So the horse is chewing,
So they have to make it seem
so
like
they
he was
gotta...
chewing.
Yeah, so they gotta
That's
be like...
actually the vibe I got. They're like, oh, it looks like the horse is chewing something, so therefore...
But every other scene, he's not chewing.
There's one scene where he really looks pissed off, actually.
Well,
Like, you can
so...
see his eyes.
Again, it was John Candy ad-libbing. Like, was it one of those things where like, blah, 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 carrot up their ass, and, you know, the director's like, you can't say that.
The fact that John Candy ad-libs this film makes me fucking hate John Candy.
Yeah, it's...
I think John Candy might be a terrible fucking racist. Or was. He's dead now, so.
I'm sure he was. What do
Still
you
is
mean?
up in-
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he didn't change his ways after his death.
He's dead again. Christian.
Dead again, Chris.
All right, so yeah, after that, it's time I paid you a visit. We get Fred pulling into his parking garage, and he hears moaning. He walks over to the side, and he sees it's Don laying on the ground, and he's very clearly feigning dying.
Why
Because
would
there's
he
no
have to do
exposition.
that? I don't understand why he...
Because he's a piece of shit. That's why. The horse is morally wrong on all grounds.
Fair enough.
Oh man, yeah. And after a little coaxing and just you know, guilt tripping, Fred offers Don residence. He asks him to come upstairs. He's like, yeah, come upstairs, or whatever. They're in the elevator. This is when we get the fucking padded
padded
elevator,
elevators,
isn't that?
yeah.
Yeah, that crap. And
Probably just sarcasm.
he lets him know. I can't tell anything that he said. We're coming to, I was going to mention, there comes the part where he starts talking. I genuinely don't know if it's sarcasm or if he's telling him the truth. And when he's in the elevator, he tells him, oh, yeah, those stock tips you got, that was me. And apparently, I don't know why, but apparently Bobcat Goldthwait didn't realize he was talking to a horse. And he's shocked. He's like, I owe my whole life to a horse? Oh, man.
Well, because
Yeah,
if you caught this, when Don calls he calls
The brokerage.
Fred,
Yes.
and he's like, Walter, as though he's Walter's fucking
Oh, he made it.
big teeth. He made it seem like,
Yeah. I'm
I'm trying to call Walter.
Okay.
And he's like, this isn't Walter's Fred. And he's like, shut up. Walter, it's important. You gotta buy up. So
I thought that he momentarily went insane. Like I thought that John Candy would just like, I'm just gonna ad-lib the fuck out of this scene.
yeah,
This is gonna be my masterpiece.
I'm just gonna make up new characters for this scene.
Just picks up the phone. Quick, Bartholomew, you've got to buy the Tampsters. You have to. We won't win the Soviet war if you don't.
the Soviet War.
Hey, I don't know what the hell's going on with that horse. From the elevator, we have Fred trying to quickly get Don into the apartment, but we get a neighbor who sees it and questions it, and they say that it's a costume.
Yeah,
It's a costume party.
Oh, that's an
Very
authentic
lifelike.
costume.
Oh, yeah. And then we hear, he's like, oh, right, it's a costume, right? And then Don's like, oh, yeah. And he starts playing a piano.
From rhubarb.
Yeah, then they go when they're inside. Well, actually, Don's already inside. So Fred enters, and they start talking, and everything Don says, I don't know if he's being sarcastic, if that's the way his voice works. I don't like. He's like, oh yeah, I really like the place. It's got that lived-in look, you know. And I
He
was
tells
like,
him it's not lived in, actually.
oh yeah, it's that not lived-in
Which
look.
apparently lived in means you just put plastic all over the furniture.
And velvet ropes, which again, I couldn't tell if he was being serious or not. I genuinely wasn't sure if he was mocking him. Like he was like, oh, he needs like plastic furniture. I was like, oh, that's haha. He's like, and velvet ropes. I was like, wait, I think he might be serious now. I've never ever seen anyone do that. And then another thing he says, which is like, Fred's like, "Oh, do you want anything to drink?" And he's like, "Yeah, anything diet." And then
Very,
Fred,
very, like,
and then he
condescendingly,
actually
yeah.
pours him a drink, and he drinks it. So I wasn't sure if he was being condescending
I
or.
think Tab Cola might kill a horse.
It's gotta.
No, he kills humans, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
That's why they make it
gotta.
more. They still,
Yeah, and another.
yeah,
They still make tab?
I see it in supermarkets every now and then.
yeah.
It's not in the main soda aisle. It's like with all the store brand sodas.
Wait, they actually keep it behind the supermarket in the dumpster?
Yeah. Yeah, after he pours him the cola, we get the main reason as to why a horse can't live with a human being, and that's because they shit where they're standing. He says, "Oh, I hope you have a lot of newspaper."
Yeah.
That's what Don says. I hope you have a lot of newspaper, implying that he's just gonna shit where he stands. The main reason why a horse can't live with a human
Yeah,
being.
but why don't they just get him one of those poop bags?
Why doesn't the horse that can understand human beings learn how to use a fucking toilet?
In fact, you know what? No, wait, what? No, here's what happens. Because later on, when Don is complaining, he's like, "And you leave the toilet seat up all the..."
Uh-oh.
He also does another clothing where he complains about underwear being left around or something like that, and like, how? Like, what's it get caught on his hoof? Like, what is he?
He's an asshole.
Yeah, I know that.
Can we stop and... Now, we know all the shitty jokes John Candy makes throughout the movie. Now, imagine if we ended up with
Sebastian.
Joan Rivers and John Candy together.
Oh my god.
It would just be shitty jokes, like, back and forth at each other.
I think it was a much different movie than that because
You know,
that's when Ellie
it-
Gould was supposed to be.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if they were all at the same time. It's just one was originally supposed to play one and one. I don't know.
Is
And
She
wait,
seems-
was Joan Rivers going to inherit the company from her dying mother?
Yeah.
Even though she's like 100... She was 106 years old
When this movie.
when this movie was made.
I don't know how, but you made me feel like I've offended Joan Rivers.
Oh, yeah. We've offended Joan
We get
Rivers.
fucking pulled on The View tomorrow. They're gonna kill us.
I don't think she's on that.
Yeah, but they still up there.
They,
That's like if you insult Regis Philbin now.
other talk shows bring you on. That's how it works.
That makes perfect sense.
You go on television. You're like, oh man, that Don Knotts, what a piece of shit. And then the next day you're on Total Request Live.
Well, I think he's dead and that show's canceled. So
Yeah, I think Carson Daly only does it out of his garage at this point.
Chris really does a podcast.
Look, I'm sorry I couldn't use popular culture with that joke. I don't follow any of that shit.
Don Knotts. That's who you picked.
He was watching when Don Knotts met Scooby-Doo recently.
Don
I
Knotts
gave
was
you
on like
Regis Philbin.
Don Knotts was on like
Yeah, but
30
I didn't want to
episodes
steal
of
it. I
Scooby-Doo.
wouldn't-
I forgot who Kathy was. So
It was
I
either
didn't follow
Don
through with that
Knotts.
joke.
It was either Don Knotts or the Harlem Globetrotters, and that's all Scooby-Doo's guest stars ever consist of.
There's
Batman
Batman.
on that
There's
one.
Batman
All right,
sometimes.
Adam West is on
How
there
dare
once.
you?
Adam West. All right, so after he tells him he's gonna shit everywhere he's standing, they pretty much just bond over youthful shenanigans about like, oh, I never drank so much tequila in my life, and yeah, I should have banged her. I don't know, whatever terrible stories they're talking about, and they're watching movies, which I assume they're about genocide because the only time they show a dialogue from the movie, it's like, well, they're all dead. It's like, oh my god, what the hell are they watching? It's gotta be about genocide. That's
So
what I
Neighbor's
assume.
like, look, you could be watching something worse with everybody dying.
Then the next day, Fred takes Don for a walk like he would a dog. And he starts asking him, like, oh, what should I do? Like, with the company, you know, you think this would be good, this would be good? And he's like, listen, all I know is you're going to need a bigger pooper scooper.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that you didn't need this entire scene.
At all.
He's like, Don, I need help. And he's like, well, you know, poop's a thing.
He's like, I sure do poop a lot.
You know, I shit a lot, right?
That giant shovel you have isn't going to be big enough.
So then we go back into the apartment, and we get this stereotypical housekeeper who's just like, no, mister, no horse, no.
I don't think this lady was Hispanic. I thought she was just like a white lady
Like-
doing an offensive
Yeah,
Hispanic accent.
She was in Hispanic face.
brown face, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
To them, brown face and Hispanic face is just a clean
It's not that
outfit.
hard. She just
Apparently,
probably
brown
went to the
face
tanning
is a
booth for like
unibrow
an
and a
hour.
mole.
yeah, they just took an Italian girl and was like, go be stereotypical. No, and no horse in here. Are you gonna tell?
Which she immediately was like, oh, okay. Horse in here.
Yeah, it's like
Mister says so.
Yeah. She's like, no horse. No, I don't clean up the horse. He's like, no, it's only for one day. It's okay. And she's like, oh, okay.
She answered the question that they probably
Vacuums
should have
around
asked
it.
originally. She's like, why a horse?
Yeah, it didn't. Oh, man. And then do we also get, is this later?
What?
When the
I hope it's the end of the movie. Are we up to that
no,
point?
there's so much going on.
You're the one who keeps on stopping us.
Oh my god, is this when he gets that that blow
I
up
know
doll?
what you're talking about.
No, all
Because they
right.
go to
that's
the
later
little party
on.
first.
All right, so then then she's cleaning around him, and we get the Don calls Fred in his office, and he's like, "Oh, I'm bored, and there's a party tonight."
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So after that, Fred comes home. It's like there's some of these scenes are so bullshit. Like they literally just go, "Hey, you know something's gonna happen in a few minutes, right?" Oh, okay. Like,
Yeah. It's just filler.
Hey, you know the next scene is coming,
Yeah.
right?
like they probably should just jump into the next scene because then I'd be like, "What's going on?" Oh, I figured it out. Okay, I'm smart. Like no, they tell you what's gonna happen,
Maybe-
and then it's just like
They just figured anybody dumb enough to watch this movie needs to be held by the hand and told
I
what's
guess
happening.
so. Yeah. And when he shows to the party, it's like a loft apartment party. So the elevators open right up into the apartment.
Yeah.
And immediately he's just assaulted by this woman. He's like,
A
I'm a single
single
man.
man.
Ooh, which is horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it made me think of? You remember in Roger Rabbit?
Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, I'm glad somebody else.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Oh
In Robert Roger,
Yeah.
when he
Shows him a
thinks he
Toontown.
finds Jessica, and
Yeah.
it's the like ugly cartoon.
Yeah.
And, oh man!
Exactly what I thought.
That's
It was.
Precisely.
I don't know which came first, but one is definitely the other.
This one I think came first from Roger Rabbit. I want to say
No.
Roger Rabbit's
I-
89 or 90.
no, I thought Roger Rabbit was like 87.
I think Roger Rabbit's a better film, so we're gonna say
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit did it
Roger
first.
Rabbit, yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit was 1988. These were actually, was that the same year?
No, I'm pretty sure this came out. Yeah, the same year, but I'm pretty sure this came out before. But yeah, that lady, yeah, very clearly from Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, it's definitely the
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit.
Now that you mention it, yeah, it's impossible not to see. But anyway, she tackles him, and it's just like, oh, I'm eating anchovies. Isn't that sexy? Or I don't know why. And that's the part that bothered me is she didn't have a bowl full of anchovies. She literally just pulled an anchovy out of air and then ate it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe she's mistaking anchovies for oysters as an
Let alone
aphrodisiac.
who walks around with a bowl of anchovies.
I don't know. I don't know.
Which white
What?
assholes?
Where have you ever seen a bowl of
They
anchovies?
usually come out of a little can.
I don't know. Whatever.
pizza.
Anyway, Bobcat Goldthwait, of course, horrified, runs to his apartment. The lady follows him. Somehow he can't close the door fast enough, and she gets in the house.
And this is the first point where I noticed he's got the atrium in his apartment, right?
That's also outside of his apartment.
That's also
Yeah.
So in theory, you could just stand outside of his apartment and look into
look
his
right
apartment.
into it. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
What? How is that a
I
benefit?
don't know.
If
also,
I'm rich and I have a nice apartment, I don't want people looking in.
I'd also like to
That's
point
true.
out that those are shitty apartments because every time someone's in the hallway, you can clearly hear the conversation they're having.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Clear. There is no question about what's going on. So yeah, after he gets back into his apartment, the lady follows him inside, and she's like, "Oh, look, a horse statue," because Don's just not moving. That was pretty amazing to me. The fact that they got a horse to stand still for that long.
They probably just like tranquilized it or something.
Maybe that's why all the filler was in. The horse died halfway through production. They couldn't get all the scenes they needed, so they just needed filler in there.
Just Bobcat Goldthwait bouncing up and down on a stuffed horse.
It'd be pretty funny. I mean, that's basically what happens at the end.
Yeah.
But it'd be pretty funny if halfway through the horse just changed color. Yeah, the first horse died and they couldn't find a similar looking one.
They couldn't find another horse. That's great. So she starts looking at the statue. Looks at the penis for some reason. That's what you look at when you see a horse statue. And she's like, "It's so light." We already said that it's doesn't say when it's wet, and she runs out of the place screaming. Yeah. Then again, Don's drinking more cola. They make a Catherine the Great joke.
Yeah.
And then, just for no reason, he's like, "Oh, by the way, Fred, coffee. Buy coffee."
That's not how. I don't think that's
No!
how the stock market. Although I don't know because
It
in
might,
Trading
yeah.
Places they buy frozen orange juice concentrate.
That's true. Though, I'm not sure if that was real or not, though.
That wasn't. It was a.
No, I understand the movie was
Oh.
fictional. Jesus Christ!
The way you said it, I was like,
No, I meant that I'm not sure. Watch Hot to Trot and become dumber every second.
Wait, Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd didn't really trade places?
You mean to tell me that Dan Aykroyd isn't really a black man in that film? He wears blackface in that film. People always forget that. Yeah, Dan Aykroyd wears blackface in that film.
It's tasteful blackface, though.
It's not a thing. It's not a real thing. Tasteful black. What, did somebody lick his head while he did it? Went, yeah, this tastes good.
Lawrence Olivier who did
Like,
good blackface.
Like good blackface.
There's no such thing. It's
Yeah, it's
Lawrence
all
Olivier!
offensive. Trading Places.
Othello!
Trading Places, Always Sunny,
No.
Tropic Thunder. That's good blackface.
It's still offensive. I don't care how funny it is. It's still fucked up. I'm gonna laugh at it every time I see it, but I'm also gonna acknowledge that it's
morally
fucking
right.
racially offensive. Yeah. Jesus Christ. So next, we're right back into the brokerage office, and again, Walter is just in his own, not Fred, the old guy. Walter's in his coffee, just going, how did he know about coffee? What's the deal with that?
Yeah. Wait, what? Coffee? What?
And every time that happens, it's Fred and his sidekick. They're just standing there going, how did he do that? I don't know. That's so weird. What's going on? I'm not sure. I'm gonna check the computer. Like they're like way into the scene. They're like, let's research this.
Oh, you mean Fred's dad?
Huh?
You mean Fred's dad? Because he's Fred and his assistant.
Stepdad. technically.
No, I said yeah. Fred's dad.
Willard, I
Assistant,
think is his name.
Walter.
Walter. Wilfred.
Because it's evil, like Walter White.
Whatever.
Was it this scene? But there's a scene where, like, maybe the whole movie is so shitty it just all blended together. But I feel like there's a point where it's Walter and, like, his brown-nosing assistant sitting there, like, watching through the window, and then it cuts away and cuts back, and there's, like, 10 more people all just sitting there watching through the window.
Yeah. Well, what it is, it's him and his partner.
Yeah.
Looking through the office.
Yep.
And then in the next scene, they're in the conference room. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're all there.
But they're all in the conference room, like, watching.
Oh
like,
yeah, they're all waiting for him to come out. Like.
Oh, were they waiting? I
Yeah,
thought they were
yeah.
like, maybe we can get tips by looking into
I
the...
presume because that would make no fucking. That's the scene where we get the
it
white
would-
zone is for unloading.
Yeah,
and
it would make
unloading.
no sense, like the rest of this movie.
Yeah, during that whole thing, Allison, the secretary, suggests that perhaps Walter underestimated him. At which point, Walter suggests that she should figure out how he does what he does, presumably with sex. That's clearly the implication because
Fuck the
it's the
truth out of
'80s and she's a woman, so there's clearly sex
You
involved.
only have one purpose here, Missy. I don't know why the 80s are talking like that.
Like the '50s. Apparently, in your mind, the '80s were the '50s.
Anything before now is all the same.
Anything before today is 1950. Regardless if it was before or after 1950.
That's how they do it.
Right? You don't remember the solid 2,000 years of Eisenhower as president? Those are good times. Those are good times. So after the boss, it feels like he kind of just like blackmailed her. And, like, I know all he did was say, well, maybe you should figure it out. But I feel like he basically said, have sex with them or you're fired.
And she doesn't even put out. She doesn't even.
Well, I mean, would you if some lady was like, you know, I got a talking horse, right? Come back and I'll show you, and then just like forces the horse to talk.
Well, no, because obviously he's gonna cut her up into little pieces.
It figures a goddamn horse.
Yeah. So yeah, but what we get is
Hard
Don
right
is
turn this movie.
very skeptical of Fred, who has a date with Allison. He's like, "What you mean? You mean she asked you out? That's not what happened." And all of us like this is the scene where it like becomes clear to me that I don't know how, But Don is the perfect personification of the millennial generation. Like, I don't know if that's just like a recurring thing that it's always been the same, but this guy is so fucking entitled. He's sitting there going, how'd you get a date with Allison? That doesn't make any sense. And he's like, well, she just wanted to date me. It's doing. He's like, I don't like my teeth. Just interrupts him just to talk about himself and the things he doesn't like about him. It was so weird that he just kept, whatever. And then he's like, after he's like, I don't like my teeth, Fred's like, he tries to help him. He's like, well, I don't think they're so bad. I mean, I guess you could probably use a water pick or whatever. Immediately cuts him off. Hey, Fred, look. And just starts doing Elvis impersonations. Just totally cutting him off.
Now, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and try to explain why you think this represents the millennial generation.
Yeah.
Because remember, John Candy's just ad-libbing these lines, right?
Yeah.
John Candy's just ad-libbing. He is a rich, entitled fuck, right? I mean, I'm sure at this point he's got money. He's probably doing all kinds of drugs. Bobcat is some relatively no-name guy. He's like, fuck this guy. I'm trampling on your lines. And then, I mean, now all the kids, like, in the last 20 years, they were all raised like, no, this is America. You're the best. We're rich. Fuck poor people. And that's the attitude we have, so everybody thinks like John Candy.
Great.
So we're all gonna die prematurely.
Well, no, I didn't. We don't all live like
We're
John.
all a bunch
I
of
do.
bigoted fat Canadians.
We're all a bunch of horses.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Who hate our teeth.
Yeah, and after he gets interrupted, Don then just starts lashing out for no reason. He's like, you're doing this to impress everybody else. This isn't for you. And Fred's like, no, I like this stuff. That's why I'm doing it. Then this is when we get the Allison shows up in the hallway, and we can hear everything they're saying in the apartment.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
talking about, oh, you leave the toilet seat up, you don't pick up after you, the clothes are all over the place. At which point, I'm getting like what are they gonna do? Like some he's secretly gay. He lives with another man type of thing. No.
Well, this is the 80s.
They don't even touch on the fact that she clearly heard him having a conversation with someone else. They don't even mention that. Right? She shows up, and Fred's like, oh, look at my atrium and my couch. All right, let's leave.
And he claims the atrium is a big selling point for the place.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Why? I
Because
don't
it's
know
fancy.
why.
It's fancy and outlandish. It makes him look like a fancy gentleman.
Fancy gentleman.
All right.
That's what he's trying to impress upon this lady.
And while he's showing the apartment, Don sneezes, and Allison's suspicious, and Fred's like, "Oh, let me go take care of that or whatever." And then it's the worst.
Horrible.
No,
It's the worst.
What happens is he sneezes and he goes, ruff,
Yes.
woof, and starts,
Oh my god, the worst dog impersonation I've ever heard.
yeah.
Implying that he thinks
Like,
that's
but-
how dogs seem.
And then
Yeah.
and then he goes back there and he turns on the light and then we see the silhouette of Bobcat and John Candy.
Yeah.
And they're talking and Allison's like, well, I'm looking at him talk to a horse and I just heard
Yeah.
bad dog noises. That clearly didn't come from Bobcat because I was just standing next to
Yeah.
him. And now he's explaining to me that it's talking horse,
No.
but
But there's a part before that. You didn't get that? That's so much worse. When he's doing the he's like, woof, 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 bark, bark. And then Fred goes behind and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, bark, bark. Is she not buying the dog bit?
yeah.
Out loud! Is she not buying? Like, no, of course not. Could have thought that he just had like a defective dog, but no. No, it's very clearly there's a man impersonating a dog somewhere.
a man. So
Finish your thought.
Go
I'm
ahead.
done. There's no more thoughts to be had
Yeah.
about this movie.
Yeah, naturally, Allison is perturbed by the existence of a horse, as everyone who sees a horse is in this film. Doesn't even have to talk. They just see a horse and they go, what the? Oh, what? Horses?
Well, I mean, to be fair, she's in a penthouse apartment. Why would there be a horse?
Who gives a shit? I don't know what rich people do with their time.
They're allowed to do what they want.
Dude's got an atrium.
Why wouldn't they keep the horse in the atrium?
Because it's a
Did
little
you not
yard.
see how big the atrium was?
Well, that's true.
It's
Then you
only
could,
a little yard.
then
It's
you
not a
could
big
view
yard.
it from the hallway too.
Oh yeah, they can
Because
see that's that part too.
If I'm rich, I want people looking what I'm doing.
All right, next we're on the date, and Allison just kind of jumps right into it. Well, I mean, there's a little bit of talking before him, but she pretty much just jumps right into it and says, "How do you have this knowledge?" And flat out, Fred goes, "It's Don."
Gives it up immediately.
Yeah, immediately. He's like, talking horse gives me stock tips. Really, he can talk. Let's go. I'll show you. And I don't know why, but Bobcat Goldthwait can't say the word linguine. He's like, "Oh, I like this spaghetti." She's like, "It's linguine." He's like, "Linguina, spaghetti."
He's uncultured.
Yeah. And then I think I couldn't. I tried to listen to it, but I laughed too much because I think he goes linguine. I like spaghetti.
Yeah, that's exactly what he says.
I thought he was saying like some weird Italian
He said
phrase.
it's like spaghetti. He goes,
Oh.
it's like spaghetti.
I thought he was like, "I like your spaghetti," and I was like, "Why did he say those words perfectly?" But linguine was a fourth. Oh man. So yeah, after that they go right back up to the apartment because he wants to show that Don can talk, which he refuses to talk because, as we already established, Don's a dick, and he's not gonna do that.
Huge asshole.
So after Allison leaves, he goes back in to yell at Don, who's suddenly watching King Kong.
Yeah.
It's just suddenly.
Was it a projection TV? Because
Yeah.
standing. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I want to know that so bad.
Yeah.
It was.
Old school. It's old school. It's the the three
And
colors.
that horse was pissed off. I think the horse was like, they may have been shoving carrots up his ass because that part where he says, "This is my favorite movie. I don't remember you being in it." Like the horse is literally giving him a dirty look.
Yeah, like real dick.
Yeah.
Like, real
I
dick.
seriously think John Candy was alluding to the fact that they fucking stuck stuff up Don's ass
This warrants
to get him to
investigation.
make faces.
Stuff stuck up John Candy's ass to make him do these lines.
He just did that to sneak stuff on North
They
Airplanes.
stuffed stuff up his nose, and then he just did whatever he wanted.
All right. That's
Cocaine.
Okay.
Let's get through this movie.
I'm sorry, you haven't said a goddamn thing this whole.
It's because there's nothing. It's all. The worst part about this film is the story picks up. There's still more story. to
The
talk
worst
about.
part about this film is we can go through scene by scene and go, yeah, there wasn't a point to that.
No.
Nope, there wasn't a
There's
point.
no point to
okay,
any
there's
of these.
no point
like,
to that one.
There's so many
No,
scenes where they
alright.
set up story to just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like not even just to like, oh, and then remember when that happened early? No, just done, garbage, move on. So yeah, while they're in the apartment, Fred claims that Don is jealous. Don, I think he's like, "Kiss my ass," and like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, Fred. It's stressful. We need to go out to the country." Like immediately he's in this sort of like a abusive relationship where he's insulting him and he's like, "Oh no, baby, I love you. Let's go on a vacation. It'll be
I thought
great."
it was weird. He actually told him to kiss his butt, which I'm like, they've said shit so many times in this movie.
Yes.
Like, why would you not say ass, which is like the most benign curse there is?
I assume that was like the genuine Canadian coming out in John Candy, where he was like,
Being so polite.
"This is the most offensive thing I could say." Yeah, and after
We'll
that,
punch you in the face for telling him that.
after that, they all go to sleep, and the next day
As has the audience by now.
we're back. Oh, well, I hope so.
For their sake.
We go back to Don's parents' stable for no reason at all. I don't know why we've gone back there. But we're back at the parents' stable. And we get the line, "Oh, I wonder what they're making for dinner." And we hear moans. Don's father is dying for some reason. There's no, we didn't get a, "Oh, hey, you need to come to the country because the father," no. Just all of a sudden he's dying for some reason. And this is when we get the, "You gotta make the family live on," and blah, blah, blah. And then Don's father literally kicks up. Well, there's the audio of it, but he kicks the bucket. Did anyone else hear that when he kicked the bucket? I watched it back like 3 times, and there's a sound of someone kicking a bucket, and that's to indicate that he dies. It was so. I was just like, that's so low budget. It was just so bad. I was like, oh my god. And then after that, we get Don going back to. I assume this is Don's stable because I have no idea why they would go there if that's not what it was. If it wasn't the stable owned by Walter and all that. They go there, and Walter is showing off his horses.
Yeah.
And then,
The white horse, right?
first the other horse, but then the mistress shows up and go, "I love my new horse,"
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
It's his champion racing horse that he's showing off.
Yes.
He actually says that he's going to make money off him racing and then make money off of selling him to fuck mares off of
Yeah, it was in front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
alludes to that.
Yeah. And they,
More horse sport.
when Don sees the horse, immediately falls in love with her, and then Walter and them see, they go, "Get out of here, go away." So they leave. It's fucking, it was awful. Then we go again back to Fred's apartment, This is when we get a really strange scene where Don is trying to order flowers off a phone from a stereotypical Asian man.
From Samurai Flowers or something, like Samurai Florist.
Yeah,
actually,
it was-
Oh, well, I didn't hear the name
It was
of
like
that.
it was really bad.
There was
Like,
no
like-
need for it at
yeah.
all.
Like the only way it could be more offensive was like kamikaze flowers. Yes,
Yeah,
our flowers are the bomb. Like that's the only way.
yeah,
could've been worse.
it was it was just
Flowers are the bomb.
yeah. After the Asian guy hangs up, Fred has to go to work, and obviously Don doesn't like it because then he's gonna be alone again. This is when we get the maid answering the door. Guy delivers a package.
Right.
Maid says no. Delivery guy says, "Look, I'm delivering this fucking package. Deal with it, lady."
I'll punch you in the face.
And
bitch.
she's like, "Oh, okay." Takes it inside, opens it up. I don't know why it immediately blows itself
right.
up
That
when it
was
opens
that
it
was
up.
weird to me.
It's very strange, but it does that. Again, jump again, still same area, but jump again to, all of a sudden Don's on the balcony of the apartment, and he's threatening to jump because he's so bored. Then a
I
dog
think he was
comes in
just
off the
seeking for
street.
attention at that point.
well,
I just want
yeah,
to say
yeah.
real quick.
Which again,
so.
entitlement.
We
bullshit.
see the inflatable horse, which presumably is a sex.
Oh,
It has
right?
fishnets on.
Yeah.
if not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where I understand, if you were like, hey, could you go to Google like horse sex doll? Okay, cool.
Oh, you
Where
can
would you
find-
get that before the internet?
Porno mags.
Where would a horse get
Get a
that?
porno mag.
Porno mags.
Where would a horse get a porno mag?
Other porno.
Where would a horse? Where would a horse get a porno mag
don't
that
think
has an
alone-
ad for inflatable
Same
horse sex
place
doll?
he got gum and the ability to dial a phone
and
Thank you.
and play the piano.
and the horse sex doll. There's no way the horse sex doll would be designed for a person to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
There wouldn't be a horse sex doll for a horse to
Yeah, I don't think that
couldn't bear the
inflatable
weight.
horse doll could, hold the weight of a horse.
fuck.
Well, being like to do all those spectacular things, he may have like positioned it on top somehow because it's light.
Okay, that's enough.
All right.
That's
You
too far.
asked. You
Yep.
were trying to figure out the
Yeah,
logistics.
well, you could have just said, "I don't know, I'm dumb. Let's go on." But you tried to answer it, so now we gotta call you dumb and move on.
Just because you fuckers are uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, so he's yelling on the balcony. A dog comes up and I heard you yelling. I heard you were bored. Goes inside. They start to party. More animals show up. More partying happens.
Which implies to me there's some sort of animal network that lets them all know when there's a party happening.
How did the dogs use the elevator?
I don't know how the dogs understand English.
They don't.
How do the what do you mean?
Dogs don't understand English.
Fred was on the balcony saying, "I'm going to jump."
Oh, no, he said I saw you on the balcony. He didn't say I heard you.
And he talks to the dogs in English, and they respond.
No, he
in
speaks
dog.
to him in dog. He speaks in rough. He starts saying rough, rough.
Then if he hold on, wait a minute. If he speaks in dog and he's like "Ruh, ruh," then how come his dog impression earlier is so bad?
Because he's a fucking moron. This whole movie's dumb. It makes no
What
sense.
a piece of shit, this fucking cat. That, again, spiteful. We've already established that horses can understand humans and don't out of spite.
They're all assholes.
So that's what it was. He was a dick. He purposefully made the horse sound to ruin the date with her. The same reason he wouldn't talk, because he's a fucking jealous dick.
I think we all
So yeah, so we pretty much have a full-blown animal party going on in Fred's apartment at this
It's
point.
an animal house. Ah!
And Fred shows up while they're all there,
Yeah,
right?
he shows up with this thing of horse food. He struggles to take it up to the apartment, and then the duck curses. Well, first we get a freeze frame when he walks in the door, and then the duck goes, "Holy shit!" and then everyone runs away. That was so bad. I don't know why. I have genuinely no reason to be upset for duck cursing, but I am. I did not
Ducks
enjoy
have more dignity than
I
that.
did not enjoy it. I don't know why they decided the duck needed to have a line.
And then all the animals come stampeding out of the apartment.
Past the
Almost
neighbor.
killed
That's the
bastard.
neighbor. Yeah, it doesn't look very nervous at all that he's about to be
No.
stampeded. It looks like he kind of looks around and he goes, "Oh, I jump up and grab this thing. That's my cue. Okay," and then just hangs on there. Also, was it just me, or did that neighbor look like he was like a musical conductor?
He did. Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad that
They
wasn't
have a
just me.
distinctive look, I guess.
He really looked like that. There's nothing that happened in the film that would indicate that.
There's no
Nothing.
there's no
In
hint
fact,
of
the only
music.
other time you see him in a film, I think he has like a pot full of potatoes, like or
he's
he has some
carrying
sort of
some-
food. Yeah, which I don't know why, because there's a party later way after that. So it's not like he was bringing the food to the party.
Well, if you made the like potato salad and you brought it
Potatoes have to
Carries it
boil a lot.
around the hallway all
They
day.
have to steep it.
steep.
Oh man.
Seep?
No, steep, like the water, like tea.
Yeah, so Fred freaks out about all the animals. He goes to call the pound, but Don is already just devouring the bag of food that he gave him.
Shows his face.
What
right in it.
a fucking entitled dick Don is. Oh my god. This is why I bring this up, because once I notice it, it keeps happening, and I'm just like, dude, there's no way you can interpret this.
It's true.
So then, yeah, Fred decides, oh, I'll invest in this, as Don makes a bunch of Chinese jokes. He makes like Chinese, this is better than Chinese food. And you know how I feel about Chinese food. Plus, I'm not hungry after an hour. And then I was like, like that's probably a new joke back then, but
It might be.
hearing it now,
It's
Such a
probably
weird
was.
joke. Yeah.
it's just
None
like,
of the jokes John
I
Candy.
think that's probably
It was
like-
new in Canada.
Oh, is that it?
It was new in Canada.
Canada finally got the 50s. And then 88. So, what do we get next? Next, they go back. Once again, there's like 4 scenes in this whole film. They just keep jumping around. They go back to the broker
true.
office. Fred invests in that,
Indio Oats or India Oats
whatever
or-
it is. And then he just dances to the bathroom. Like, he just like, yeah, I did it. And then he goes to the bathroom. Walter calls some dude who is in a sauna on a cell phone.
Which why would you have a briefcase in the sauna that has a cell phone? in it?
Because you're important and you have to have your phone
My
with you.
fucking
at all
cell phone
times.
doesn't work in my house. How'd that guy have a briefcase cell phone in the 80s working a sauna?
Exactly.
Whatever. So he calls the guy. That guy's like, oh, no, that's a terrible company. The food's killing animals.
Yeah.
They're going to investigate the company. Don't do it. And then they make a bunch of, like, the bad guys, the Walter, and they hang up the phone and they make a bunch of, like, bad puns. Like 2 or 3, I think. Like, they're just like, oh, yeah, good investment indeed.
And then they lock Fred in the bathroom.
Yeah, then they go and they lock Fred in the bathroom. And in there, he's making a speech about his future wealth and singing Tutti Frutti.
Yep, but he's singing it.
Yeah, it's not like you presume it's Bobcat Go like Tutti Frutti.
Nope.
No, it's an actual Tutti Frutti. Oh, Rudy, and you're like,
Why don't you just sing all the time?
Do you have 6 separate voice boxes? Is that what's going on?
And then he gets an important phone call in the bathroom from Don.
Which doesn't make any sense to me.
Whoa! This
No,
is
not
something-
because of the calling. Because before that, Walter says we locked him in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I cut off his phone. I blocked his phone. It's what he says. And then he immediately gets a phone call, which he calls Don. Or Don calls him.
Yeah.
Don's like, oh, the food's killing me. I ate a bunch of Mylox, and now I'm okay. Because apparently Mylox isn't poison to horses.
Okay.
And yeah, he's talking. He's like, what? What? And then all of a sudden the phone's just like, oh, we're sorry, your call cannot be. It just disconnects. So, like, what the... Did it take time for like them to scramble the
He put in the
landline?
order and the person was lazy.
I guess. So then Fred freaks out. I mean, he tries the door first, but he freaks out and just jumps out the window onto the ledge and just tries to shimmy his way over there. Walter is still walking around the office with his constituents, just like, oh, yeah, he's a real good businessman. That's how they talk. What do you want from me?
I'm not-
Then, while Fred is on the ledge, he gets cartoonishly sucked into a window and then thrown back out. And then just keeps going, even though that window is clearly open and he could go back inside it. He's like, no, I'll just keep going. And he keeps walking on the ledge. He falls off the ledge. A pigeon lands on his face for no reason.
Starts attacking
Pecks
him.
his head.
Yeah, pecks his head.
Brutally.
Then just flies off.
The only reason I could possibly think that pigeon may have hated him so much is because it may have been at the party before. He was pissed off that he got kicked out of his
That
house.
would have made sense if the pigeon
Said something.
said something, yeah, but no. And then he gets back up on the ledge, crawls over to his actual office. Some lady walks in trying
That's
to
his
sell him
assistant.
sandwiches.
No, that's his assistant. That's his secretary.
Yeah, secretary.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that
And she is like, oh, what are you doing out there? That's you want
Yeah.
what kind of I got rye or you want?
Totally oblivious that there's a stockbroker on the
Her
ledge of
boss.
a building.
Her boss is on
Yeah.
the ledge of
No,
the
I
building
understand
about to die.
that, but it's more important to
know.
understand
In general.
it's a stockbroker in the 80s
Yeah.
on the ledge of a building, and she's like, no, wheat or rye. He's like, open the goddamn window!
Yeah, like 5 times.
She's
yesterday.
like, no, wheat or rye.
It wasn't until he made the decision
Yeah.
about the sandwich.
Then she was like, oh, honestly, I don't know why you're yelling at me.
This is why your business is failing.
And I don't know if you noticed, but then she was cartoonishly stuck to the wall for the rest of the scene. When the window flew open, yeah, she got squished behind it like a door, yeah, and was cartoonishly stuck to it. Anyway, he goes in,
Makes sense.
runs to his computer,
Supposed to the movie.
taps it, stops it.
Too late.
He's too late.
Yeah, too late.
Walter
He's
comes
broke.
in and mocks him.
Ha ha ha! Fuck you. Which again,
It's your business, asshole.
it's like I don't think that's not how owning half of a company works. Like half the company can't go broke and the other half be fine.
It's clearly that he is just the worst business owner ever. It's very clear to me.
Yeah, it's
Terrible. Terrible businessman. So then after that, that's it. Fred's bankrupt. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about bankrupt, but presumably implied bankrupt. He's hitchhiking on the highway
with Don.
next to Don, because
Back
they're not
with them.
hitchhiking
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
they're
we're
hitchhiking
actually
on
back to the
opposite.
division
Yeah.
thing. You
Opposite
stay on your
of the
side,
roads.
I'll stay on my side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a lot of boundary
And
issues.
he could be riding Don, as we established
Yeah,
earlier.
but no, he's not for some reason.
Don gets a ride first. Truck pulls up.
Don't know why.
Right.
Don does not have thumbs. There's no indication
Just pick up
of
a horse on the
anything
side of the
other
road.
than a horse just standing on the side of the road.
See, they were going to sell it like goddamn Fred should have.
But eventually Don ends up back at the brokerage firm. So that implies that, number one, we have the
It's
ha
true.
ha ha, it's funny because the truck pulls up, stops for about half a second and pulls away, and Don's gone. Ha ha ha, so funny. LOL. That implies that Don somehow got into, I assume, the cab and was like, hey, look, I know I'm a talking horse, but, you know what, fuck you. I'll suck your dick if you take me to this brokerage firm. And the truck driver's like, oh, okay, talking horse. I know where that brokerage firm is. Here you go. Have a good one. And that's it. Like,
Yeah, it's part of the rules of the road.
you roadhead, right?
Yeah.
We
George
learned that.
Carlin taught us.
Awful stuff. I hate you people. All right, yes.
Back to horse sport.
So yeah, Don gets in the truck and he yells, "I'll never forget you," which is the universal sign for I'm abandoning you. And then that's what that is. When someone goes, "I'll never forget you," that means I'm never gonna see you again.
Right?
That's why the only way I'll be able to remember you is by never forgetting you. Because I'm abandoning your ass. Back at the brokerage firm, Walter... the associate, his fucking white associate is on the phone. He's a fucking white
know, I was
piece of
just fucking
garbage. I don't know.
He's 80s white villain.
Yeah, he's
He's
a
that
total
80s
80s sidekick. Yeah, he's on the phone like, oh,
It's like
yeah,
Street
I
Comics.
found out what he did, and then I use it against him. That's business. Bah ha ha ha.
Good thing Allison's right behind me so she can overhear.
Yeah. She storms out. I don't even...
She quits,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
she quits.
she's like,
Because she goes into Walter's office, and he's just like, he's having a toast to the fact that he's gone. And so she just quits.
Half my company's bankrupt. Let's celebrate.
Let's celebrate. Then she leaves, so she's in the parking garage. She puts the ticket in the machine to, whatever. And Don just, like, shows up.
Out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere. And he's like, oh, you had a rough day? And she's like, yeah, days are stupid or whatever. And then she just drives away, slams on her brakes, realizes, oh, that was a talking horse.
let me go back.
Yeah. And then, no, not
Let's
even
go back
let me
and
go back.
confront
Stops it, looks back, cut to, she's driving the RV for,
That's so
for
fucking
Don.
weird.
Which again implies that Don somehow owns that RV. Because
Yep.
he just knows where it is all the time. Or also that, I don't even know. Either that means that the RV was at the brokerage firm, or she somehow stuffed Don into her car and drove.
Maybe she rode Don to the
Nobody
stable.
rides Don.
Except,
Nobody ever rides Don.
except for in this movie where we see someone
Yeah,
ride Don.
Don
Don-
rides you.
Back to the horse porn.
Oh, God. Why?
You're
Who brought that up? You? That's why you're not on this show too often. Bringing up this crap.
So Don rides Allison, or Allison rides Don. something happens, and there's an RV, and then Bobcat, and then the movie's over, and
I wish.
oh,
I really
that's right.
wish we
it
didn't
can't
have
be that simple.
like 3 more pages of this shit to go.
No, we're close. We're getting there.
Like, yeah, we'll keep lying to you about that.
He's like a little kid. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah, no. Disneyland's
It's just over the sail, buddy.
It's closed. We gotta go back home.
Walt Disney's dead.
your mom doesn't love you.
Well, that's just the truth.
That's why I have to go to
All right. So
Disneyland.
yeah, she grabs the horse in the RV, and Don explains how a race works. Like, literally, he explains how a race works, that if he wins, they'll get money, and money can be used to exchange for goods and services.
Yeah.
And then that'll help them in the future. And she's like, yeah, well, we don't have a fucking racehorse. And he's like, well, I'm a horse, and I've seen a race, so good enough. And that's good enough. That's it. Everyone's like, oh, okay, fine, see ya. Moving on. Next, then they're in Fred's new place because obviously you can't afford that atrium place anymore.
That's a shitty little trailer.
Yeah, it's some
His
very small
atrium is
trailer
now
park.
the woods.
Yeah, by the airport. Yeah, it is by the woods. Oh, actually, before we go here, I want to point out again more pointless racism from Don when he's in the car with Allison. There, what I thought was Mexican music was playing on the radio,
Yes, it
and
was
he's
like
like, "Can you
Chicano music."
turn down this East Indian music?"
I thought that was weird too.
Why? That led me to believe that John Candy just spurted out a random race, and someone was like, "Just put foreign music in there." Like, don't even research
Vaguely
it.
foreign music.
Just vaguely foreign music.
As long as it's not rock and roll, we'll be
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. Yeah, so then we get back to Fred's new place. I think they're again explaining how a race works. This is when they talk about how they have psychology and horses can be psyched out and stuff like that. And it was so weird to me because first he says, "Yeah, we can psych out horses," but then he's like, "Yeah, we can invade their mind and just fucking molest them." Also,
I thought
Bobcat Goldthwait
offers him a hamburger.
orders a hamburger and he says, "No, you want a people burger?" Which means cows are horses.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fun. Good to know. Everything is a horse in this film.
everything.
And again, maybe not, because we've already established that Don's a fucking racist.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just
Maybe all four-legged things look the same to him.
he's an anti-equestranite.
Then we get to the race, right? We get to the racetrack.
And not even the race, just the track.
Yeah,
There's
just the
still
racetrack.
shit going on
Yeah, they're
before the
trying to
race
get a
actually
goddamn
happens.
jockey.
We get to the racetrack, and Walter and his slut are there, and they're like, "Oh, your piece of shit's not gonna win this race, and why don't you bet on it?"
They just keep ramping it up.
And they keep using the word chicken shit.
Yeah,
Like it's
what are
fucking
you-
Marty McFly going on.
Yeah,
dude.
that's-
like they're grown up Marty McFly.
Yeah,
What are you, chicken shit? Yeah, we can't copy Back to the Future. It's chicken shit. What are you, chicken shit? And somehow, Big Teeth suddenly decides,
Everything.
I'll bet all my horses,
Everything.
including the white,
the dressage horse.
yeah, the girl horse, against your horse. And they make the bet, and they're like, all right, well,
Yeah. They're like, okay, thanks.
This
And
is
then-
actually
and
where
they just
George
part
Lucas-
ways.
yeah.
They just
Yeah, I mean,
fucking part ways. Oh man.
This is where George Lucas got the idea for the pod racing sequence. How Qui-Gon was able to get fucking Anakin's freedom.
Yeah. So then next you have the race interviews because they needed a jockey for Don. And where do you get these fucking people from? Like
Jockeys.
there
They're
must have
clearly
been
not jockeys.
There must have been a release day at a nearby prison that they all
Yeah.
came from.
The first guy, like, he's like, I'll inject him with this shit,
Yeah.
and he'll win the Indianapolis
Yeah.
500, man.
meth.
Yeah, wants to use some steroids.
Yeah,
or some-
super steroid. Second, some old narcoleptic dude.
Oh,
And then the third one is, first of all, the plan is, all right, Fred, you're not interviewing them right. I'll interview them. And we get John Candy, who's voicing a horse, who's voicing Bobcat Goldthwait.
It's like Inception.
oh my God! Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yep.
Except that movie was good.
It only made slightly more sense than this one.
I would make a Ellen Page talking horse joke, but I'm not
Are
gonna.
you saying Ellen Page is a talking horse?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Why?
I don't know. Because fuck
Okay.
you. Because then fuck this movie and fuck every movie.
Just lashing out now. There's no real.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There's
Hamburger
no
phone is
aim.
apparently a horse burger phone.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I had to learn. Apparently, every time I have a fucking hamburger, I mean a horse, which apparently is illegal.
Is it illegal to eat
Well,
horse?
you're not allowed to have horse meat in anything.
Really?
but I think you're just not allowed to sell it.
Yeah, you can't call it one thing and say it's another.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
is that
know.
it?
Wait.
Yeah, because like you can't like I don't think you could sell cat, but I think if you
You say it's cat, yeah.
So why not
well
just
no I
sell
think like you might be
meat?
able
You
to
can sell whatever you want.
cook your own cat.
No, you can sell whatever you want, as long as you're not mislabeling.
Pretty
it.
sure there are things. you
Yeah, I don't
cannot
think
sell.
you
They
could
sell
sell cat.
they sell canned guinea pigs in some stores.
Well, that's because guinea pig is
Yeah,
a
no,
delicacy
that's-
in South America.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
That's a real That's racist, is what that is.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait, wow.
Dick, why don't you just
How
say East
dare
Indian
you
music?
misappropriate a culture?
Yeah.
You know what I hear some fucking strange cultures eat? Meat formed into a loaf.
It's delicious.
Yeah, sure it is, you freak.
You white people make weird foods.
I don't get that. This is not about meatloaf, though. Moving on, though. I'm not even gonna let that divulge into that.
I
So-
was ready to.
Yeah, so he's got this the horse that it's Don pretending to be Fred, pretending to be a horse jockey
Well,
Well,
hold
no,
on.
or a
no.
horse interviewer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah. And the guy is out of his mind,
Batshit insane.
batshit insane, and once again, Don proves that not only is he a piece of shit, but he has absolutely zero regard for
Yeah.
Fred's safety or well-being,
No empathy.
which makes me wonder, why is he even, like, why does he give a shit
Yeah.
about helping him?
Well, I cannot allow me understand
Because he
why he's there.
basically coaxes this dude into beating the fuck out of Bobcat.
He tells him to take a swing.
Yeah,
literally.
He's like,
Yeah.
"Go ahead, pussy. Why don't you punch me in the face if you man enough?"
And then afterwards, he's just like,
Accent
so
of
who's
that
next?
person.
He doesn't mention that he got beat up,
Yep.
or he's like, well, yeah.
This
it's
guy
not
also
happening.
never actually questioned because he says something to him like the first comment, and then he's like, "What did you say?" I didn't say anything. He says it in his voice. The guy
Yeah.
doesn't question.
Yeah.
He's
And
out of his mind.
It's
changes.
clearly
The
insane.
guy's insane.
Clearly insane.
Then they're like, "Fuck it. I guess Bobcat, you're gonna ride the horse."
No, well, they're literally just like, what are we gonna do? And he's like, I'll figure out something. And then end of scene.
Smash
Nighttime in Don. It's just it's nighttime in Don's stable, and he has a bunch of self-doubt. And for some reason, this film decides to let us know that reincarnation is real. I don't know why. There's no reason for that.
That fly was horrifying. By the
That
way.
it was. It was a very horrifying. I'm pretty sure if you give anything lips that aren't supposed to have lips, it's terrifying.
crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
That's why I think the new Turtles movie isn't gonna do good.
Which
'cause
one
they
is
gave
it?
them lips.
Which I feel like they were trying to be
Enough.
like funny and cute at the same time by having the father reincarnate into a horsefly. But I was like, that's really fucking dumb.
It's just because he didn't do anything. He showed up
There's
and
no
he was
reason
like,
for it.
"I believe in you," and then he was like, "Yeah, don't. Being a fly is terrible." Like it literally, he shows up, tells him how bad it is to be a fly.
Yeah.
Then goes, "Believe in yourself," and at the end he goes, "Hey, what's it like to be a fly?"
It sucks.
It's-
Sucks,
yeah.
son.
It's
Which is, I mean,
That's-
based on the rules of reincarnation, is because his father was an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. If
That's-
reincarnation exists, it's because like it establishes. Well, his father was a piece of shit. That's why he's a fly.
Now he must eat shit.
I don't. But why does he have the sentience of a horse?
That's true.
Yeah, reincarnation doesn't let you keep.
No. It
Well,
also
maybe not
it
for
also
humans.
implies technically it also implies that that was the first incarnation of him. Because he doesn't remember anything beforehand. So the first time that being ever existed was as a talking horse.
It's getting some deep shit right here.
I don't like it. That's what happens when you have flies.
And
They
that also
shoot
establishes
shit.
that flies can speak English.
Well,
No,
see, that's a
horse
gift.
at least. Oh, yeah, I guess.
Because we establish, some horses have
Yeah,
the
well,
larynx. You don't.
Don't you fuck with me.
We established at the beginning, they try to make science into how
They
Don
say
talks.
larynx, yeah?
Yeah, they're like, oh, horses used to have larynx muscles, and some still have the blah blah blah. That's why some can speak English. That's how they.
I
That's
know, I
how
had
they.
a theory, but I already disproved it in my mind.
That's how they explained how horses can talk.
Yeah, but I thought they were a lot more vague with it, like the gift. Like I didn't remember them.
Yeah, but at the beginning,
a
they're like
miracle.
blah 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 larynx.
All right, whatever.
So fucking fly, horse, dad,
Demon lips.
yeah, race, racism,
No, not.
Cut to Bobcat Goldthwait being really fat on the scale.
yeah,
And the other jockeys making fun because jockeys are tiny fucking people.
yeah,
Yes. Actually, right before that, we get this recurring joke, which I don't fucking get it. It's probably because I'm not rich and I don't go to horse things. But there's this cameraman introducing all the horses, and he gets to Don. He's like, "Oh, and this newcomer, Don."
Everybody's
Don, is that right?
Don,
Don,
yeah.
that can't be right.
That's because for some reason racehorses usually tend to have two names.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then-
but then they go on to tell you a bunch of horses that only have one name.
Yeah, but they're usually
Like
outlandish.
Curiosity and
yeah, but they're like stuff like Curiosity and the Wizard of Azkaban and Hizzledy Bumps
I
and
thought
like
you were gonna say the Wizard of Asgard. I'm very disappointed.
they always have weird
yeah,
names.
but shouldn't that in itself be a meta idea that because horses typically have weird names, by giving a horse a normal name, it's a weird name? It'd be like if I called you Rex. That's a dog's name, and that'd be fucking weird.
Yeah, but it's like if you name a dog like Steve, and you're like, haha, that's a person's name. Like,
He thinks he's people.
yeah, and then
Yeah, but Don kind of is people in this.
These rich
but
fucks don't know that.
but Don is
I don't even know what point I'm trying to argue anymore.
yeah, whatever.
Let's just
Fucking
keep going. Let's just keep
shit
going.
happens, and then we get back, and then
He really wants this movie to be over.
yeah, I do. I wanted this movie to be over as soon as I started watching it.
Oh, also, Don hyperventilates. Did people notice that?
yeah,
That's
Yeah, he
so
has a bag.
fucking
yeah.
dumb.
Allison's like, breathe in through the
Breathe- yeah.
nose, out through the mouth, into a brown paper
And he,
bag.
and he coughs too. Why did he cough? Why did he choke?
I don't know.
Too
I
much
don't
carbon
understand.
dioxide.
Whatever. Fuck it. Garbage. No, stop. Stop. talking garbage.
Jockeys.
Yeah, jockeys. I just wanted to point it out because I looked it up. The first jockey weighs in at 105, and Bobcat Goldthwait weighs in at 185. And we get a tuba to know, so we know that he's fat.
Yeah, I want one.
Because any other human would go, no, that's a pretty good.
Yeah, no,
that's a pretty good weight. No, yeah, and the jockeys are all getting ready, playing cards, putting this shit on. And just Bobcat Goldthwait struggle with his pants. Then they go out to mount the horses. As they're going through the tunnel to get to the horses, Bobcat Goldthwait struggles with his hat. They get to the horse. Walter shows up. They start mocking them. And then Fred gives this big stand up for yourself, like hallelujah. Oh, the little guy might be down, but he's not out. Because when the tough get going and the going get tough, the little guy does the big thing. And the big, just keeps
Yeah.
going.
Rolling on.
Yeah, he
I
does
think he
drone
runs out
on.
of steam actually at the
And,
end.
and
I think they meant
I'm
for
not
him to
sure.
run out of steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it would have been funnier if the people weren't immediately looking around bored.
Yeah.
Like two line, like he says like four things, like two sentences, and then Walter, Allison, everyone they just kind of like
like,
awkwardly
oh,
looking
shut
around,
the
like
fuck up,
oh
yeah.
geez, like what is? I didn't know this is what we were getting into. Whatever. So it ends. He gets on the horse. He's backwards. What a fool. Whatever. Boom. So now, oh my god, it's so close to being done. No, it's really not because now we have to sit through the whole fucking race.
Oh, this race will go quick.
Now the race starts. I
Before the
don't.
race even starts, he hypnotizes another
Yeah,
horse.
somehow he knows hypnotism, and he fucking hypnotizes one of the horses to sleep.
Yeah.
Which the horse can hear, but the jockey can't hear the
That part
horse.
bugged the fuck out of me.
This whole race bugs the fuck out of me. This whole
This whole
movie.
movie.
Well, no, I think that he did hear him because he hypnotizes the horse. The race starts.
Yep.
Everyone runs, and it's only for a second. And because the horse is the center of attention, you don't notice it. But it looks to me like the jockey on the horse is also asleep,
Oh.
which doesn't make sense.
Nope.
Because then was Don just speaking in full volume English, or does that jockey speak horse?
No, he was
Don was
speaking in
speaking
English.
So, like, why?
Wasn't
Don-
Bobcat then
Huh?
hypnotized also then?
Because he was
Yeah, why isn't? How come? Why is it that? Why isn't the horse on the other side of him? Why is like how come that
He
one
was
horse
specifically-
and that
I mean,
one jockey?
If you really want me to apply logic to this, he kept on saying number 7. He was specifically addressing. I don't know how hypnotism works. I don't know if you have to.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah. First off, I know hypnotism works, and the rule of hypnotism is you have to be willing to be hypnotized.
Yeah.
If you sit there going, I don't want to, it's not going to fucking happen. So, first off, that horse wanted to lose the race. That's good
Horse
enough.
just didn't want to run.
Yeah, did not want to run. He was done with it.
He was ready for the glue factory.
Yeah. So everyone, fucking the race starts. Everyone takes off. Fred and Don. They're really far behind. And then we start to get this really weird, like, part of the race where it's not really racing so much as he just catches up to every guy in last and convinces him to quit the race.
Yeah. He catches up to the Spanish one, and he's like, hey, man, immigration is waiting at the end. And he catches up to the next one, which how the fuck does he catch up to them?
Yeah.
It implies
I don't
to
know.
me that he didn't need to do all this.
Yeah. Then he catches up to the next one. He's like, hey, I hear there's a glue factory waiting for the winners at the end. And they're like, oh,
Glue
nope.
factory.
Yeah.
Which it made me question, is that legal? Like, can you just, like, race people and just be like, you know, I murdered your wife, right? And just, like, horrible shit. Just say terrible, physically demeaning stuff to them.
How come...
And get them to just quit racing in
Start
a
crying.
depression. In a depression, just quit racing. Mid-race.
How come the other jockeys weren't like, that fucking horse is talking at my horse in English?
No, they didn't, yeah.
Because this movie's like, fuck you. That's why. Catches up to the next one. And it's like, hey man, you want to hear a joke? What do you get when you got 12 donkeys on your lawn? Fertilizer.
So hilarious. It makes him veer off course.
Yeah.
Laughs himself hoarse.
And then, I don't even know. Do we get to the front then? Do we get to the... Is
I
that...
think that was it. Yeah.
Then we get up, and I will say, you know, this...
Well, did you mention the glue manufacturer?
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Then we get to the leader, which is Willards or Wilfords or Wilsons or...
Well, before we get to the leader, we get this really weird where he's like, I can't do it. I can't make it. And he's like, come on,
Well, no, we also,
do it for
you
your mom and
missed-
dad.
You missed one thing where actually Fred demoralized another jockey by
happen already?
threatening to
Yeah.
murder him. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, he threatens to...
Like rip his arms off and beat
Yeah,
him.
oh, no, it was really weird. He was like, you know, sometimes I just feel like ripping your arms off and feeding that stupid horse of yours.
Yeah.
And then the guy just, he slows down in terror.
Yeah.
He's horrified to a slow halt.
He needs to slow down and clean the shit out of his pants at this point.
Yeah. That was amazing to me that he literally slowed down out of fear. Like you saw his face, which had shock on it. He was like, oh.
I was not prepared for this.
No.
Then we catch up to the leader.
Yeah.
And he tries to tell the donkey joke.
Before I want to point this
All right.
out is he says do it for mom. Bob Catgoldhit says do it for mom and dad, and then he starts running a little bit faster. And he's like, I can't. That's not enough of motivation. I can't do it for my mom and dad. And he's like, do it for I forget her name. The female horse, the white
Slut
horse.
horse.
Yes.
Slut horse. She was a slut. He would need to win the race.
And he's like, oh, yeah, I think that's cocaine. It still doesn't work. And he's like, do it for vanity.
Mm-hmm.
At which point, I thought he meant the person. Yeah. Do it for vanity. If you win, I'll fix your teeth. And he was like, oh, shit, yeah. And he just starts flooring it. Makes it up to the front. And then he starts mocking the horse. And this is the worst. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I should exaggerate this far, but I think this may be the worst part of the film.
It is. At first, he tries to tell the joke to the horse, which I thought was actually pretty funny. He's like,
And
hey, what do you get for this? He's like, literally,
eat
our
shit
horse,
and die.
Yeah, just tells him to eat shit and die. I thought that was funny.
Oh, was it the horse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that was the other jockey.
No, there was
It was a giant subtitle. Why would
a neighing happening.
Yeah. Why would
That's,
the jockey...
that's the guy with the opposite gift.
Yeah. The jockey was like...
I understand horse. That's why I'm in first, bitch.
Yeah, so he catches up to him, and he's trying to tell him a joke, but it's not happening. And he's like, you want to know why you can't win? You want to know why? You want to know why you can't win? And he keeps doing that. And then they get to this point where they stall for a second. He's like, you want to know why you can't win? Because... and he has to wait for, like, the finish line. And he's like, and then he does the Mr. Ed theme because of the wonderful things that he does. Or whatever that is,
Isn't
right?
that
Or is
from-
that...
no,
what
that's
was
from
it?
Wizard of the
That's what
Oz.
it was. Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Which...
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand.
No, there was no sense to it at
There
all.
was no...
John Candy was done at that point.
horse of a different color? I don't... Like, what...
Whatever. Fucking erases ending, and
And
they're like...
photo finish.
And he
Biden
wins by
incisor.
an incisor.
By his
Oh, yeah,
horrible,
'cause his crooked
horrible
teeth. Which, shouldn't he not get his teeth fixed then? Like, what
I
the...
don't think he ever plans on racing again.
No, I don't plan on ever bringing this shit up again is the problem. So yeah, the Walter is like, oh, you're not gonna really hold me to that bet, are you? Considering I just lost everything to you. And he's like, yeah, I am. And then Don says something, but he mocks Walter directly
Yeah.
to his face, indicating that he had a talking horse this whole time and didn't realize it.
Can you explain to me why Walter would hold up his end of the bet?
Oh yeah, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, dude, there's no legal ground for
Yeah,
that.
there's
Just
no-
fucking
There's,
walk
there's not
away.
even any witnesses.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know. You probably find a way to sue Bobcat Goldthwait at this point
Yeah.
for like criminal negligence. He just starts keeping a horse.
And then
Yeah, unfortunately, as much as you'd think that's the end of the film, as shitty of an ending that be, there's another like tacked on ending that's still just as bad.
As if one weird voice wasn't enough.
Yeah.
We get
No.
two. We get a second one.
Yeah, we get Gilbert Godfrey plays a dentist, and he's working on Don's teeth. We see Fred and Allison are in a waiting room. At no time do I presume that they are their children, but they're waiting in a dentist's waiting room, and children are around them, which is weird to me, because it's Bobcat Goldthwait, Allison, and 3 children.
No other parents.
No parents, right? We go inside the dentist's office. Gilbert Godfrey performing oral surgery on a horse. I don't know what this dentist does, but he's there doing his job, apparently. He fixes the horse's teeth. He puts a little, whatever, like a rhinestone in there or whatever, and it sparkles.
bling.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if black people saw this movie and went, "That's a good idea. I'm gonna start
That's where
sticking
Rose
diamonds
came
on
from?
my teeth."
That is easily the most racist thing I have ever heard you say in my entire life. There was no reason to bring that up. You shoehorned that in so
I was just gonna
bad.
say the grill. Like maybe call it the rap community.
Jesus Christ, man.
That was your one line. That's the only. That's like the third thing you said.
Wait a minute. Did you say maybe we could have referred to the blacks as the rap
No,
community?
maybe we could have referred to the rap community because they all like the grills and stuff. Like they're blinging their shit. You had to.
I'm with Danny Money on this one. I think black people were like, "Hey man, you seen that John Candy movie with the horse? Yeah, we should do that with our
He
teeth."
got a diamond in his teeth. man.
Okay, so that was not to Trot. What a film that was, huh?
Here's your contribution, Danny. Danny Money.
Fucking monsters, you.
Don't rat me with.
Shit. It's gotta be you. They're not like this when you're not here. It's gotta be some sort of aura you give off. Oh my god.
So let's get to our
All right, so
overall
we all
opinions.
fucking thought this film was dumb, and we're glad John Candy's dead, right?
I'm glad he's dead, but I didn't think it was that bad of a film. No, it was horrible. It was truly awful. And I hate you a little bit for making me watch it.
That's how this works. Yeah.
Because I watched the horrible thing is the first time I watched the movie, I literally had it playing in the background while I was playing a video game.
What?
And then I watched it again. I watched it again afterwards, and I learned nothing more. I learned nothing more. I watched it twice, and I learned nothing more the second time.
It doesn't count as watching it.
No,
If
I
it-
did. No, I watched it again the second time.
Listen, he's been explaining a lot of things to us about this film, so I don't really care about what you think the rules are.
I think I have to be strapped into one of those Clockwork Orange machines and forced to watch it.
Oh man. Yeah, so that's does anybody have any exposition? Does anyone want to elaborate on why they didn't like the film, or just
Because
I
this,
think it's pretty
this
much
movie
Because of the horrible
fucking
things it did.
this movie throws all logic out the window. This movie is constructed upon zero logic. I would say 80% of the scenes have no purpose, except the fact that, well, let's see, the movie's got to be at least an hour and 20 minutes.
there are enough cuts in this film that I'm pretty sure this film takes place over 2 weeks. Just 2 solid weeks of Bobcat
I'm not
Goldthwait and a
surprised.
talking horse.
Plus, I don't know about you guys, but I really didn't feel like there was a plot to the movie until the
wasn't,
last
no.
20 minutes when they were just like, oh, there's a race now.
It was
Yeah, for no reason.
the plot of the film changes as it was Bobcat Goldthwait has to overcome his evil stepfather. Bobcat Goldthwait has to overcome his relationship with the talking horse. Bobcat Goldthwait goes on a date, has to deal with women. That's the new plot line.
But that was only a 20-second plot
Yeah,
line.
well, but it comes back when the party he has to deal with another woman. And then
Bobcat Goldthwait learns linguini.
Yeah, and then Bobcat Goldthwait has to win a race. Like there's no like. It's so small when Bobcat has to fucking deal with the stock.
Can we start our line of children books where Bobcat Goldthwait goes on adventures and learns new things?
I think he'd be able to sue us for stealing his language rights.
You have to wait until he dies.
Also, part of me
think-
kind of thinks
And then the estate
that's
will sue us.
what Ernest was.
Oh yeah.
Camp and
Yes.
it's pretty much just that.
Yeah, and he kind of had a funny voice.
Oh,
Horrible.
one thing I wanted to point out was apparently the character that Gilbert Gottfried plays,
Yeah.
he reprises that role in Problem Child 3.
Yes, I'll never forget that part. Wait, does he? Because I
No, is
remember
it 3?
No.
he was in Problem Child and he was like watching the kids for some reason. I remember this.
He wasn't a
vividly.
dentist.
He was just a guy that was
That's what
watching
the
the
internet
kids.
said.
He was just a guy that was watching the kids, and at one point he's forced to dance with the children, and he's just screaming at the top of his lungs that he's having a stroke. Please help me, I'm having a stroke.
No, maybe, yeah, I don't know, but Gilbert Gottfried, yeah, it says right here, Gilbert Gottfried reprises his role as the dentist from Hot to Trot, complete with x-rays of his horse patient.
Really?
That's what the internet said. I've never seen Problem Child, I didn't write down, but it's one of the Problem Child. I'm pretty sure it's 3. I've never seen the film to
Oh wait, no,
confirm
that's,
saw
that.
the
I'm thinking
first
of
one.
who's talking. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's when he was having a stroke.
No, I remember Gilbert Gottfried in Problem Child.
Was
I
that
just
the one
don't
with
remember.
Kramer? Which one was the one with Kramer?
I don't.
Well, are you saying that you remember Gilbert Gottfried in Problem Child? 'Cause
Yeah.
he was also in Problem Child 3 then, maybe, as a dentist. I don't know that he was...
in one of the Problem Child.
yeah, but I don't know if he has a recur... I don't know, so I don't...
The only thing I remember about Problem Child is Kramer being a friggin' murderous and rampage monster. And stealing snack cakes for some reason.
All right, so just for the heck of it, if you had to, out of 5 stars.
I'd go with 0. I would go with a legitimate 0 stars.
I'd probably give like a 1.
I'd
Nope.
give it 1.
Yeah,
I
at least a
chuckled
1.
a couple times.
I didn't. Fuck you, 0 stars.
The problem is with these kinds of movies, like I watched them, like they weren't expecting anything. Like that's my problem with horrible movies. Like for what it wasn't it wasn't too horrible because it looks like they set out to make a bad movie.
I was expecting a fucking movie, and I didn't get one.
No.
I just got some scenes
Just mashed together
with
for a weekend.
the same actors in them over and over.
It would have been
again.
better as a TV show with all the small plots.
Yeah, an ongoing TV
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
You think this should have lasted for more than...
But that was called Mr. Ed.
True. I guess. Yeah.
What happened in this now?
Why didn't they just remake Mr. Ed then? I think it's been enough time. I think we could do that now.
Yeah, let's just remake Mr. Ed.
All right.
With CGI, we could probably make it really good.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Wouldn't have to shove things up their asses anymore. All right, well, that's our opinion. It's always fun to hear other people's opinion because everybody has one, you know? Okay, R Trap said, Dabney Coleman's performance makes it all worthwhile. His buck teeth are incredible.
They're hilarious.
4 or 5 stars. That's it.
Just because those teeth.
Just the teeth.
Which don't appear all that often.
No!
Like that. For being an antagonist, he's actually not that present in the film.
Yeah, he really isn't.
Honestly, Don's probably more of an antagonist than that asshole is.
He might be. This next one, people won't be able to see this, but I just want to point out that how it's written down here is how the person submitted it. Like with all those weird...
Oh, wow.
And yeah, just haphazard random paragraphs.
Jesus.
Oh! We invented the cinema. I say we, but I mean the folks behind Dabney Coleman's world-famous role in Women's Lib. So, the Western genre doesn't apply here. No. You've got 2 things. A talking horse and a 25,000-year-old dame by the name of Virginia Southworthington Madison. Comedy was certainly inevitable as this pair teams up to provide as many depressed humans reasons to off themselves. I mean that in the Fuck it, I'm not even gonna try it.
Google that word.
In the parentheses.
Nope.
Yeah. I looked it up. It just means like in a philosophical sense.
Okay.
But that doesn't make sense.
What kind of fucking nerd wrote
It
this?
makes people. It makes depressed
One that
humans.
doesn't know how to use
it-
capitalization
it
properly.
makes- yeah, he used semicolons for like commas. I don't know. It was a mess. That whole thing.
This looks like somebody whose English language is not the first language they use.
All right, this next one I want to point out was written in 1999, pre 9/11. This next one was written pre 9/11.
It scares me that you need to make that disclaimer.
Oh, I definitely do because it's really weird. I just think that just the actor. There's a Bobcat Goldthwait and a talking horse. What else do you need? If you don't buy this movie, I will shoot you in the head. 5 of 5 stars. Didn't realize that the people like that existed on the internet back then, huh? Violence.
And then 9/11 changed
And
the
then
world.
9/11 changed everything, huh?
I don't.
All right, this one's by Michael. Classic comedy from 1988. Not as bad as most people would say online. This is a must-have for fans of comedies such as The Animal and Deuce Bigelow.
Jesus Christ!
So only people who enjoy Rob Schneider films?
Yeah. John Candy and Bobcat Goldthwait are great. Dabney Coleman with the teeth and the glasses will crack you up. Please see this movie. 5 of 5 stars.
So this guy's basically saying that Adam Sandler would love this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I love Rob Schneider, and I would never own this movie. Never.
Right? Why? Ugh. All right. Last bit. I really don't know what to call this bit. Anybody have a name?
For what? The number 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to call it Shakespeare's Corner because, a rose by any other name.
Yeah.
It still might sound as sweet, but that's too wordy.
That's too Shakespearean.
Yeah. Whatever. We're doing titles because different titles sometimes have different meanings.
Lost in translation?
This is why.
Ah,
Maybe there you go. This is exactly why I did this because when I did R.I.P.D. It's just R.I.P.D. Ghost Patrol.
Cops,
R.I.P.D.
Ghost Patrol.
Cop Ghosts. Ghosting Cops. Cops of Ghostington. Ghosts.
It sounds like rejected titles to fucking Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I know. But this one I love because there are just random it's clear to me that the phrase "hot to trot" is an American phrase.
Yeah.
Because these people they couldn't figure it out. In Brazil, it's called. Well, actually, before I want to point out is that West Germany was the only one who got it right. They call their film "Hot to Trot."
All right.
I don't know how, but they did it. Brazil, they called themselves the Talking Horse. Which,
Right to the point,
that's
those
right to the
Brazilians.
fucking point. I would not be
They do not
disappointed at
waste
that
time.
point, yeah. Spain called the film A Horse in the Bag. It was actually a dog in the bag, so I don't know why. I think it was a horse in the bag. Yeah. In Finland, they call it At Full Gallop. In Hungary, it's called Urgent Trotter.
That sounds like code word for mud butt.
Diarrhea,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yo, son, I got that urgent trotter.
Oh, man. That's good. I like that. In Italy, they call it Don, a horse for a friend. In Poland, they call it, I don't know why, but in Poland, they call it Con, smarter than horse.
No, smarter than
Oh,
horseman.
excuse me, smarter than horseman. I don't know. The weirdest part was the in the untranslated title, Con is spelled with a K instead of a C. Like that's the only translation of it. I don't know why.
Like, God!
Yeah.
Might be a.
I don't know. In Siberia,
Serbia.
oh excuse me.
Siberia. In Siberia, they don't have
They
one.
don't have a
They
language
just
or
freeze
horses.
to death.
Yeah, no. In
It's
Serbian,
called snow.
in Serbian, this film was called Horse Job.
I love that.
That's
fantastic. If you fucking showed me just a movie poster that just said horse job, I would probably see that movie.
You would
And
end up
yet-
seeing a horse porn.
And yet you've never seen horse porn.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. You just danced around the subject.
Yeah, we just danced around.
I think technically now you have though.
Yeah, we fucking.
We got you.
Oh man. Last one is Sweden, which is called In Full Gallop. Yeah, that's it. We already said
Yeah.
no sequel.
No.
Well, I would.
He would make a sequel because now they'll have money, so he can make his fucking buddy cop movie.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I would make a. I would remake the movie as a buddy comedy cross country trip between
Would that then still be considered a remake?
Well, no, you
Instead
don't
of
have
a
to make a
different
remake.
movie?
You have
Yeah,
to make a
it's-
sequel because now they have all the money they just won from the race, so they can use that to get on Wacky
That
Adventures.
is the in-movie universe. This is the real world. You can't use money from
No, I'm saying the
inside-
characters. The characters have money. You can make a movie about them spending the money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying they have the money. The characters can now use that money to get on Wacky Adventures. No, I do not believe that they actually won about that gold on a horse.
I don't think I've ever been in a room full of people who just mistranslate each other so grossly. I don't understand how we fucking get everyone's sentence wrong. This is ridiculous. This fucking film has warped our brains into unusable mush. Holy crap. Does anybody else have anything they want to say about this film at all? Anything? Any stupid thing done?
Horse poop. Go.
I fucking hate you.
Horse porn.
I just want to say that I did take something of value away that I will be calling Diarrhea the Urgent Trial.
Yeah, that's
Coin that phrase.
definitely a
This
universal
shit's going
now.
on Urban Dictionary tonight. We are going to start this shit up.
That's good, yeah. I hope that sticks, unlike shitbirds, which didn't stick very well.
The charter
Yeah.
will stick to you if you're not fast enough. Yeah.
What do you mean fast enough?
Because if you don't poop, you'll poop your pants.
But how's it that sticking on you?
Poop sticks to
Do
you.
you like run as you poop?
Do you eat glue? What do you...
Now we're back to glue.
All right, you can follow our blogs at wwwymt.tumblr.com and whywouldyoumake.this.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Twitter at at WWYMT. You can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/WWYMT, and you can subscribe to us on iTunes. Our intro music is Falling Off Your Love by Kill Paris. The outro song will be the feature song of this film, Hot to Trot by Danny Elfman. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'm sorry that I put you through that again. For Danny Money, J Delta, and Joey.
Fuck your screen names.
You simple named bitch. Please remember that without the mistakes of others, we'd be forced to endure the pain of failure ourselves. Support the arts. The preceding recording is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed in this podcast do not necessarily represent the views of Why Would You Make This, its owners, employees, or associates.